Fall is a busy time of year. You can skip the stress and sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. One of our clients, Marsha, said, Mark Spain Real Estate went above and beyond by working tirelessly to ensure my goals were met. They made a stressful experience so easy. Don't worry about making costly repairs or dealing with the inconvenience of selling your home. The guaranteed offer makes selling your home easy. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home in as little as 21 days. I've been in the business for nearly 30 years and have served over 50,000 satisfied clients, and I know what matters most: a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Eat Your Yard Jacks is a local nonprofit with a mission to empower people to eat local 1 yard at a time by providing resources and education to allow everyone to enjoy urban agriculture. Visit us at our edible plant nursery and demonstration site open to the public every Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4. We also provide employment opportunities to a marginalized population in the special needs community. For more information about us and what we do, call 904-343-9575 or visit eatyyouryardjacks.org.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of Jacksonville is celebrating 35 years of supporting the health and well-being of critically ill children and their families who need to be near a hospital. To learn more, visit rmhcjacksonville.org.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. We're 8 minutes away from the start of Day 2 of MLB's Wild Card Series, coming up shortly on ESPN Radio, ABC, and Sirius XM Channel 80. It is Game 2 for the Rangers and Rays. Texas can advance to the AL Division round with a win. NBA, James Harden practicing with the 76ers today. He missed Media Day and the first training camp practice. He continues to push for a trade. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, his rehab goes on for his torn Achilles tendon, told the Pat McAfee Show he's well ahead of normal protocols, believes he can return this season. Until then, Rodgers can continue to be a positive influence on QB Zach Wilson, says ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
He wants him to succeed, so he's going to give him tips. Hey, this is what they're going to give us. This is what this defense has always done. And the dude's played almost 2 decades. He gets what's going to happen. He gets how defenses are going to make adjustments. That will help Zach Wilson each and every week. It'll get progressively better because of that type of confidence coming from there.
Broncos releasing pass rusher Randy Gregory. He becomes a free agent. He had asked for his release last week. His $14 million base salary this season and another $5 million next season, fully guaranteed.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll give you my biggest takeaways from the second day of the baseball playoffs. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
For seniors, staying healthy can be complicated, but one of the easiest routes to good health is prevention. No matter what our community's current COVID-19 infection rates are, getting your booster shot now is a smart way to protect yourself from severe illness later. ElderSource encourages people 65 and up to get a safe, free COVID-19 booster. For more information, visit myeldersource.org or call the ElderSource helpline at 888-242-4464.
You can make a difference in the lives of people living with lung cancer. Join the American Lung Association at our Lung Force Run Walk on October 14th to help us end lung cancer. Learn more at lungforce.org/Jacksonville. That's lungforce.org/Jacksonville.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today
is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Well, here we go. Another day from London. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Jags practicing in one of the most unique settings you'll ever get for an NFL practice. Kind of cool to take a look at. We'll see if they still think it's cool by Friday when they practice for a few more days. Get ready for the Buffalo Bills. And man, the Bills are good as we turn our attention to them and what that offense certainly can deliver and did deliver last week and has delivered so far this season, really outside of the Jets game, that season opening loss by the Bills where Josh Allen turned it over. So a formidable group, a formidable front for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But is there a recipe for the Jaguars to exploit the Bills? We'll talk about it coming up here throughout the next few hours on ESPN 690. But before we do any of that, before we get to Trevor Lawrence, before we hear from guys like Josh Allen and DeJuan Smoot and Foye Oluokun later on in the show, we'll have Billy Andrade on the show as well. I'm kind of excited about that. Furyk and Friends golf event happening at Timuquana, and the Pro-Am started today and tomorrow, and the event will start on Friday. Billy Andrade, a Rhode Island guy, so we're going to catch up with him and talk about Furyk's event and some other things around the sport of golf. But it's a big week for Aaron Schachter, Kasey. I don't know if you knew this. Huge week for him. I mean, he's delivering, by the way. He's been able to help a bunch from London and getting everything set and some of the sound and all that, along with you, Kasey. Doing a fantastic job, guys, back there. But it was Sundays on Monday. On Monday, for the host of Sundays on Monday was Aaron Schachter.
That's right.
And then today, he's got a little Leonard Skinner in the building with 96.9 the Eagle. I mean, what a week you're having. You vouching for Employee of the Month?
Yeah, nothing rowdies up a Jacksonville crowd like bringing the boys home. I mean, having these guys in the studio today was so much fun. And, of course, everyone who they've known over the past 50-plus years who went to high school with these dudes on the West Side or went to one of their early club shows, everybody showing up today, wanting to share stories and have fun. It really was a fun time.
What was it like in there? I mean, outside of that, was it a good time and an eventful afternoon?
Yes, outside of the good time, it was a good time. But I'll tell you what else. It was hot. That room gets steamy when there are people in there. Guys, I'm telling you, I had sweat falling from my eyebrow during the interview inside a building with air conditioning. What is up with the gatekeepers here in the building, Brent? Is one of your guys who walks around here yelling at people for air fresheners and making sure we don't run the air conditioner. What is going on?
I have no idea, guys. Ever since I've left, I think it's just hit the crapper.
Really?
I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, I can't run the whole building from London. I mean, I just can't do it. Kasey Kuhrts didn't hustle up to the Leonard Skinner performance.
He did not. Well,
what's the matter with you?
He saw
Kasey?
in the email, it said no autographs, please. And that was it. That was all she wrote for Case.
What do you mean, what's wrong with me, Brent?
What's wrong with you, Case? We've got time. We got 3 hours. Go ahead. Expand on it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parts of that I can't really answer or put my finger on. But, I mean, you weren't going to find me at the Leonard Skinner concert.
Hey, you missed out. It wasn't a concert, though. Just an interview.
Oh, that's even worse.
Interview and meet and greet, bro.
That's the worst.
You do a little bro shake, a little half hug.
They didn't even sing?
Oh, no, they're doing 2 shows in 2 nights. You can't waste the voice on an acoustic today.
I got you. Okay. I'm out.
All right.
Well, here's the deal. Like, we have a performance studio in on the radio side. It's really cool for those kind of events.
Sure.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So the meet and greet, well worth it. And it's Leonard Skinner never gets old around here. Never happens.
No.
In fact, after the win in London at Wembley Stadium, Sweet Home Alabama blaring from the Wembley speakers.
Rightfully so.
They were confused over there in Alabama.
They're confused here in Jacksonville sometimes.
Well, I mean, listen, they were still swinging Sweet Caroline like into the fourth quarter when the music stopped. So, we were talking a little bit more about that today, which was kind of funny from a, I don't know, like a game operations. They obviously had it planned to play between the third and fourth quarter. Now, can't predict that. 1, the song might run out and they're going to keep singing, but 2, the Jags are going to have the ball. So it was obviously part of their game prep, almost like Sweet Caroline gets sung in the late innings at Fenway Park, right? So you have it destined for that part. Now, the big difference there at Fenway Park is there's absolutely nothing going on during that stretch when they do sing the song. But I just thought if they do this in future years, they may have to either start the song earlier, maybe in like fast forward at 30 seconds. So the crowds, or put it in a different part of the game, because it might be the best way to stop the opposing offense is to sing Sweet Caroline and everybody in full throat at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, maybe you just add it to your tailgate playlist and you leave it out of the gameplay. It seemed to throw off a couple of the guys when you were asking them about it.
They had to go like silent count on it. Yep. Because they couldn't hear on the offensive side. Hey, I'm sure you've seen the pictures and some of the video tweeted out today. Did you get a chance to see the backdrop that they have now at Henbury Manor, it is called? It's about an hour and 15 minutes, really, outside of London or central London in the hillside of England. And it's basically right on the edge of a golf course where they practiced. And the league came to the groundskeeper at the golf course years ago and said, hey, can you find us a spot to put a field for practice? And he's like, well, how about we carve it out of the tall grass up here? And that's exactly what they did. It's a beautiful field, but what an interesting backdrop. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you can check out all the video and pictures I posted on Twitter at Brent ASJax, or X as we call it now. But pretty wild, guys.
It's definitely not the backdrop you expect to see on a football practice field, but it's part of the allure to these London games, is it not? Just everything's just a smidge different, but kind of the same.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. The allure. I'll give you some other things, right? This is an NFL that has so much money, of course. These are players that have now become accustomed to things at a very high level, like the amenities. And, it's a nice hotel, and the hotels they're staying at, of course, are very nice. But from a football standpoint, where they just built like the Miller Electric Center and you've got everything right there, now you go into a locker room that it's a tent. It's basically like a big tent that they're throwing like a wedding reception at. And they turn it into a locker room. And then you're getting golf carts rides down to the field. And yet I say all that, and I don't think there's a guy complaining on this roster. Every time I talk to him about it, I think there's this aspect that, you know what, this is kind of cool. It is kind of different. It adds to the experience of what we're doing, and we just got to make sure we're locked in to play our best football, get our work done, and then go execute on Sunday. There's all that involved too. But you do get the feeling, guys, that some of the newness of this, the players actually enjoy.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a nice change of pace. I heard a little bit of Trevor's presser. He was kind of admiring the sights from the practice field and some of the other things that are a little bit different. It does seem like it's a little bit of a welcome change, but at the same time, this early on in the season, I bet the guys want to be locked in and focused with really no distractions as well.
Well, it's a lot of that is just embracing what it is. And you mentioned it. Why not? Why wait any longer? Let's hear from Trevor Lawrence. You can run point guard on this. And Trevor was in depth today. I thought he had some very involved answers to some of the questions. And you get a variety of questions. Obviously, we were there asking some about the offense and really the up-to-date stuff about this football team that we follow on a daily basis. And then you get a little bit of the different stuff from the media over here in England and beyond that doesn't cover Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson and the Jaguars on a regular basis, Aaron.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear some of the Brits questions like, do you hope to become England's quarterback of choice and stuff like that. I thought Trevor was a little bit amused by it. But the thing I love about this week, Brent, is the fact that because you're there, the lone representative of radio in Jacksonville when it comes to the Jaguars, you get called out by name a lot more in these press conferences now. And Trev's looking at you going, okay, Brent, your turn.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. It's like, we all look for a little familiarity.
Yeah.
And today in that news conference, I think I was the familiarity. To your point. But listen, we asked some questions for some other folks, like our buddy Gene Fournette as well.
That, yeah.
But there is a lot to get to, Aaron. So where are you taking?
Well, let's start with the 30,000-foot view, right? When the schedule was brought out before the season, everyone's looking down the schedule at what the big games are. This one was circled. Not only is it in London, but it's against a top-tier AFC team. And so the question was posed to Trev, is this a bigger game on the schedule because it's the Bills as opposed to somebody else? Case, it's cut 5.
Nothing changes. There's not necessarily any more edge for us or for myself because we're playing the Bills. Every game is big. I think it is big given that they are another AFC team. This is a team where it's big to try to win these games. Same like we were playing the Chiefs week 2, an AFC team that's been one of the top teams. I think these are big games, but really, especially this early in the season, every game is a big game, no matter if it's NFC, AFC, if it's a division game. You're trying to get as many wins as possible to put you in a good position at the end of the season, and this will do that for sure. And obviously, it's an AFC game. It's a big one.
4 or 5 weeks ago, I would have told you that was cliche speak, but I'm fully believing right now. The reality is, before the season, we're like, oh, KC, Buffalo, Cincy, San Francisco. These are big games. But now, with the Jaguars in the situation that they're in, Brent, every game is a big game.
Yeah, I think I get it from Trevor's perspective, but I'll disagree a little bit with him. These games are magnified even more. Division games are certainly magnified, and you understand that. But when they play the San Francisco 49ers later this year, when they played the Atlanta Falcons were a big game because they needed the win. It didn't matter if they were playing East Providence Townies. They needed a win. And so I think the NFC games do take on a little bit of a different feel than these because the Jags think they're going to be there at the end, or they thought they were going to be there at the end. I don't know if everybody back home now thinks that. But the bottom line is when the schedule came out, the Ravens, the Bengals, and who knows where the Bengals are going, right? Mm-hmm. The Chiefs, and this game against Buffalo, they were big games because you thought positioning might matter. And I don't even know if it's about positioning, Aaron. I think it's about proving that you're there. What I said a lot over the summer is the Jags had arrived last year and probably arrived early in a lot of respects. But the next step is to say, we're here to stay with these caliber teams. They missed an opportunity despite a heck of a performance on defense against Kansas City. Now they get another one, and this would open the eyes of the NFL. In fact, the game is solely played at 9:30 in the morning back on the East Coast, so it will be played in front of the rest of NFL fans. If the Jags can outscore Buffalo and beat Buffalo, I think this puts the Jags in a different tier of teams, and it probably rides them into a different wave of confidence going into the next stretch of this season. So I actually think this game does mean a lot in how we view the Jags and how everybody else views the Jacksonville Jaguars, and maybe even how they view themselves, Aaron.
Kasey, what about Trevor's point to the fact that with the slow start for this season, these games take on a bigger weight because you can't put yourself in a hole as you get to some of these bigger games towards the middle and the end of the season?
They worked their way out of it last year, so it'll just be fine. No big deal. I don't know. I think expectations change, and now when you're talking about seeding in the AFC, I think 4 weeks in, it's no longer seeding. It's just get there.
Get to the playoffs.
Because you're looking at the AFC South that is better now, and I understand this is not an AFC South game, but in terms of head-to-head win-loss, you've already lost to Kansas City. Buffalo looks pretty good.
Pretty good.
So I think now, I get the point. You got to perform against the big teams, but I'm looking at it now like, hey, hopefully they can just take care of the teams that they need to take care of and then figure out the playoff stuff when they get to that point.
One of the guys they're going to be going up against when they play Buffalo, that'll be a reason that they start fast or slow, will be Josh Allen on the offense for Buffalo. That'll be one of the big storylines this week too, probably. Josh Allen versus Josh Allen. But Trev was asked about his thoughts on Josh Allen, who's off to a really hot start this year after that first game. It's cut one.
He's a great player, obviously. We played against him 2 years ago, and I remember going into that game, and just the threat that he poses, running the ball, throwing the ball, extending plays. Obviously, not just him, their offense, their receivers, their line, their backs. I think all those guys are capable of making plays, and obviously it starts with him and just his ability. I think his unique ability to extend plays and I think make plays like that outside of the pocket make him really, really tough to defend.
Yeah, Josh Allen all over the field. Jags are going to have their hands full, Brent.
Yeah, listen, this guy's playing at an extremely high level. I'll give credit to J.P. Schachter, can steal it from him. We were talking today, and he said 158.3 rating last week for Josh Allen. It's the perfect rating. I believe it was the first perfect rating in the NFL in 3 years. You got to go back to Brady in 2020.
Wow.
That's how good of a performance it was. Did you also see this somewhere, I think it was on Twitter, 5 out of the last 11 times that Josh Allen has played the the Miami Dolphins, he has won AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors.
Wow.
He owns the Dolphins, I guess.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's a crazy stat. So he is playing at a high level. And, guys, I'm going to flip this. Forget about Trevor. We all want to match Trevor up with Josh, and I get it, and we should, and we will, and it's going to happen. This really is a great test for the defense of the Jags, the secondary we raved about yesterday, the defense that's really overachieving at this point outside of the Houston game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they do a decent job against Buffalo, guys, Kasey, you've got to say this defense is for real. That's 4 out of 5 weeks, and you did it against Kansas City, and you did it against Buffalo, and I don't even think it has to look like Kansas City. If you slow them down under their average or around 24 points, I got to believe it's time to talk about this defense as being a strong point of this football team.
I mean, if they can slow down Buffalo, you could absolutely do that. You can't do it before they slow down Buffalo because nobody seems to be able to figure that out except the Jets. That one time with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, you remember that? That was a weird game.
Why do you got to bring that up?
But because that's the one game that they were slowed down a
Had
little
nothing to
bit.
do with Aaron Rodgers. Defense balled out.
He was on the field for 5 plays. And
4 plays.
4 plays. Sorry about that. I don't want to give him credit for any extra plays there.
Thank you.
But other than that, it's been pretty unstoppable on the Buffalo offense. So, if the Jags can – and it's not even just like if they get turnovers because they probably will. They get turnovers. Josh Allen turns it over, which makes the matchup intriguing. But they can still turn it over and put up like 40 on you. So the Jags will have their work cut out for them. But if they do hold it down, then now you're talking about the real identity of this team might be the defense.
And we talk a lot about Josh Allen when we talk about the Bills or Stephon Diggs. Even Gabe Davis sneaks into that conversation. But James Cook is putting in some work this year, Brent. That run defense of the Jaguars really does need to show up on Sunday.
Yeah, they do, but it will be interesting to see how much they want to dedicate to the run. Do they think that's where the advantage is, or is it just putting the ball in Josh Allen's hand because he's hot? He only did throw it 25 times last week. Isn't that amazing? 25 times, and they scored 48 points. So they've got a nice little balance going. They figured that out, to your point. The Jags, listen, this is tough. I mean, their offense is really dynamic. He's good. He extends plays like Mahomes. He can use his legs. He can make every throw, and he's got just a rifle of an arm. They've got to get pressure up front. They have got to do that, and probably you're right, Aaron. They probably have to really stymie the run to at least get into some 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and long situation.
The Bills have played 4 games. 3 of the 4, they've rushed for over 100 yards. 2 of the 4, they've rushed for over 160 yards. The one team to hold them under 100?
Jets.
The Jets.
Nice. The Aaron Rodgers game.
Yes, the Aaron Rodgers game.
Jags are going to have to do that. Where else are you taking us with Trev?
Sure. Well, we talked about Josh Allen on offense, but the Bills are not one-dimensional. I mentioned the run game. Let's go to the defense. Trev on his matchup this week against a vaunted Buffalo defense that may get a star player returning. Cut 4.
Yeah, they do a great job. Obviously, they might have Vaughn back this week too, which adds to that pass rush and just the skill up front. So they've done a great job. I think one thing that stands out about them is they play through the whistle every play. So even if their initial pass rush doesn't get home, when you step up, they're retracing, they're folding back in to make the play, and they don't stop until the whistle. So I think that's something that they do a really good job of and why they've been able to get so many sacks. Obviously, they have a good initial pass rush and a good push in the interior as well. And then, like you said, keeping guys fresh. They're able to rotate the full D-line and keep guys fresh and keep them rolling, and that's obviously helps.
Brent, the defense of the Buffalo Bills have held the teams they've played against under 190 passing yards in all games except one, which was last week against Tua and the Dolphins, where they gave up 251 to Tua.
Yeah, but now we'll say this, right? Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer. White's gone. He's out for the year. And Poyer missed last week's game because of a knee injury, so we'll see if he goes this week. I mean, those are 2 significant bodies in their secondary. Now, where they're getting it done, like you're mentioning and like Trevor just mentioned, is on the front. So, and that's right now where the Jags' biggest weakness has been, too, is blocking people. So that's where the matchup is for the Jags' offense. But then you wonder if they could exploit some things in the secondary based on the injury front of the Buffalo Bills. They're not as dynamic back there as they were, say, 2 weeks ago.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point. But it will be a tough matchup for the team, no doubt, in all phases of football.
By the way, them boys have 16 sacks in 4 games.
Your bag of shells, Casey.
Yeah, they're very good up front.
Oh, they're
very
great.
good up front.
They're actually
and,
great.
You know what? You know, one thing. Hey, listen. I know you don't love. You hate the offensive line. In fact,
yeah.
But the Jags have actually played some very good fronts so far. I mean, Indianapolis's front is good. That's their strength of their team, probably, definitely their defense. Houston is a very good front right now. I mean, they're fantastic. This team has a very good front. Atlanta's, I don't know, it's just okay. I think they did a great job against the run. And Kansas City, whether you want to call them a good front or just the fact that Chris Jones dominated the game, he's a very good player. The Jags have had their hands full early on in this season with some pretty good talent on the other side of the ball, and that's not going to be the difference here against the Buffalo Bills front four and then some of this team. So definitely the matchup to watch, I would think, for the Jaguars offense. Hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Trevor Lawrence a little bit more. I'll give you an update on Cam Robinson. What's the latest situation going on there? DeJuan Smoot, will actually hear from him as he gets back on the practice field. Zay Jones, Jamal Agnew. We've got injury updates along the way. We are underway here on a Wednesday. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. From Jacksonville to London, our coverage presented all week by Bolt City Heating and Air.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
A mix of clouds and sun today and some haze and breezy. A few brief showers, highs reaching into the 80s. An isolated shower overnight tonight in the 60s and partly cloudy tomorrow. Still a few scattered showers and highs near 85. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying Bout Circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville, October 27th, valorbk.com.
Hey, poker fans, you're in for a treat this October at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, this is no time to be on the sidelines. Highlights include the $400 GoPo 400 with $40,000 guarantee at Best Bet Orange Park, the $100,000 guarantee St. Augustine Championship, and the return of the World Poker Tour $1 million guarantee at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the details, visit bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Hey y'all, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K this October 2nd to 8th at Timuquana Country Club. Be sure to check out college football and your Jaguars on the Jumbotrons in the Publix Tailgate Village, Birdie Beers at Circle K Party Porch, the ViStar Patriots Outpost, and more. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the legends of the game compete for a spot in the PGA Tour Champions playoffs. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Once again, our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air, boldcityac.com. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. And we've got Billy Andrade coming up. We've got some more Jags interviews coming up. We'll hear from Trevor Lawrence a little bit more coming up as well. Cam Robinson, guys, the big story of this week, and seems to have the fan base almost on the edge of their seat. I don't know if we heard anything today from Doug Peterson that's an indicator that he will play on Sunday. But we also didn't hear anything that would indicate he won't play.
Interesting.
So I think I asked this yesterday to you, or maybe it was Monday. What's your read? Cam Robinson going to play, or Cam Robinson going to wait another week?
Yeah, I think if they deem he is ready, and I don't know what that litmus test would be. Maybe it's a conditioning thing, or maybe it's a footwork thing, whatever it is. But the second they think he's ready, I don't think they're going to waste any time with it. I think they're going right on the field with it.
You may remember we went to break roughly 7 minutes ago when I talked last about the Buffalo Bills and their 16 sacks so far this season.
I do remember that.
Yeah, you may remember that. That means Cam Robinson should play.
Should.
Yeah, should. Definitely, if he's capable. Actually, I've changed my mind. He absolutely should play. It's not if he's capable. He's an NFL football player making millions of dollars.
Okay.
Like, he's not hurt.
It's a good point, Case. He should be ready. He should be ready and waiting for the last 4 weeks.
Right. So, yeah, he should play.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like – so asked me 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I think they're going to give him time to ease it back in. But I think with the shuffle last week of Tyler Shatley taking over for Ben Barch, and now – I mean, I think they're fine with Shatley there, and I think Walker Little's played excellent almost anywhere he's been. But you're right, Kasey. This is a formidable front. That offensive line has been leaky at best. It's definitely inconsistent. Trevor continues to take shots. I just wonder if now's the time to just get him in there. He's played. Doesn't matter. Like, what's the difference? What's a week going to be the difference of? Is that going to change a whole lot? So they brought him here. They got an exemption to get him here, to get him back on the practice field, all those things. Now, that's not the end-all, be-all, because there are guys that are here. Like Cooper Hodges is here, and he's not playing or practicing. So the whole team comes. So I guess that's not a tell that he's going to play. I wonder if 2 weeks ago they were like, let's hold him out and let's see how this goes. And now they're like, let's do this. We want to win this football game. This gives us the best chance to win this football game. This makes us better on the offensive front. And so I don't know what's going to happen. It's interesting. They don't even make Cam available to the media this week. And when I say the media, I use that loosely. The reason why is because he's not activated yet. So if he does get activated, it would be maybe Saturday afternoon, I'm assuming, and because that's usually when they make those kind of decisions. It wouldn't take up a roster spot, or someone would have to be cut or anything like that, or moved, because there's an extra spot available for him. And then they can just slide him in there. So we're not going to get a feel of where Cam is at until he actually gets activated, because they're not making him available until then. Unfortunately, I thought we'd be able to catch up with him this week. So where that ends up will be fascinating. How do you think he helps the Jags the most in the immediate? Pass pro, Kasey, which you're leaning on, or in the run game, where the Buffalo Bills are giving up quite a bit in the run game right now? I mean, they are susceptible to the run, so that might be a place where the Jags take advantage. And then I'll give you a third option. The third option is, do they get a lot better at left guard potentially, because Walker Little, wherever he plays, seems to upgrade the offensive line?
Well, that's interesting. You might get a few of those in the same one. I see what you're saying there. I do think pass pro over run blocking historically has been Cam's strong point, and it'll be one that I think we should expect to see an improved effort from the line when he comes back. I think if you expect to see improved run blocking, it would only be because you have more familiarity on the line from last year, which I don't know how much that's going to be the case. You got Walker Little next to Cam. He wasn't used to playing next to him last year. I guess that remains to be seen. But Brent, your third point there might be valid. Case, what do you think?
I mean, it certainly can't get worse in pass pro, so that's, a good start. Walker Little.
It absolutely get worse.
It absolutely cannot get worse. If Cam Robinson comes back and it
get worse.
It can't get worse.
Did you see the Giants game the other night?
Yeah, they had Andrew Thomas out. They get their guy back, it gets better. Cam Robinson, when he has to get better, or at least just not worse. Let's put it that way. Walker Little, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, although never playing left guard. I assume he's going to go in and be a stud, because that's basically
what he does.
We've gotten for the last couple of years. So I think their pass pro becomes unbelievably better, especially on the left.
Can you make the case right now, guys, that a second-round pick out of Stanford who hadn't played for a couple years, hardly played his rookie year, hardly played his second year until late in the season, is now the best offensive lineman for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that is Walker Little?
I don't think you're making a case, Brent. I think you're just telling the truth.
Well, I think make the case happens because you got guys like Brandon Sheriff on that line, a guy in Cam Robinson who you just paid $22 million a year to a couple of years ago, a first-round pick, and Anton Harrison on that line. There are reasons for Walker Little not to be just immediately assumed as the top pedigree on that line. But to the point, Brent, I think Casey's right. I think he's it right now.
4 games into 2023, he is clearly and undoubtedly the best offensive lineman.
Clearly, yes.
Not questionable.
Were you guys surprised when we asked Doug Peterson about Fortner, and there was nothing? He was like, no way. We aren't even considering moving a guy like Shatley over there replacing Fortner. They seem to be way more happy and content at where Fortner is right now than your favorite website and some of the fans out there feel about the way Fortner is playing early on in year number 2, guys.
Are they happy and content or just committed? Because I do think there's a difference there.
Well, there is, and I think that is something that teams kind of put a mirage over sometimes, right? And they have to be careful of this, because what coaches will tell you and what everybody will tell you is we're playing our 5 best guys. We're playing our 5 best guys. Well, when you're invested in a kid and you're, they're going to see that through and see what they have in them. That being said, the way Doug answered the question was almost like, Brent, you're an idiot for asking it.
Ooh, I like that.
Casey, all lit up.
Big fan of that.
He really didn't say that. He really didn't say that. He really just looked that way. But I'm trying to be a little dramatic about it. He was so matter of fact. He was adamant that, you don't really need that.
Not even an opportunity.
Because we're not even thinking of it.
Yeah. Hey, this is so, Brent's like, hey, you going to switch at center? Doug Peterson hit him with the.
Suck, Brent.
Okay, nice. Brent, follow up, Doug? Any comment there?
I'm just don't.
Oh, okay. Appreciate that. All right. We got it under control, Doug. Thank you. Sorry, Brent.
You don't have the Trevor cut in there, do you?
The Trevor cut?
Yeah, he's like, Brent, you did a good job, buddy.
We don't.
Oh, no, we don't have that.
Why haven't we replaced that?
Yeah.
We still haven't replaced it.
It's weird that Casey doesn't want to put that one in the system. That's weird.
We absolutely don't have that one. What is this one? Hold on.
I'm sorry, Brent.
Oh, that's not a good one.
Are you saying sorry to himself? That's weird.
I'm sorry, Brent, but we have no more rooms in the drop column.
We don't. I'm
For
fresh
the good
out.
Trevor Lawrence one.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Brent, I do have a few questions here in the chat that people are curious if you can shed some insight on. First one with Cam Robinson would be, do you think he helps in the long game, the long pass game, a facet of the football game for the Jaguars we haven't really seen yet this year?
Yeah, I actually think he helps in the run game more than anything at the moment. He's a big dude who can move people. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it hurts. I think Cam's a good player. Cam did not play great in August, and I have behind that. And in part, it's because he was playing with the twos. He knew he wasn't going to be playing in the month one. He's a veteran guy. He knows what it takes to be ready. But I could easily see a player losing a little bit of concentration and focus as he's playing in like the third and fourth quarter of a preseason game because he knows he's not playing until October. So I think Cam's a good player. They invested heavily in Cam. Here's the bottom line. They invested so heavily in Cam that Cam has to deliver. Like, he has got to be a good player for them. And then you add in Walker Little, where we have confidence that if you put him anywhere on the football field, he's going to perform for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That right there does set up the blind side for Trevor Lawrence, which would then give him some comfort, some trust, and the ability to get back to his drop, let a play develop, and hit somebody down the field. So I guess the answer to that question, I would say, is yes, but I still have to see it to believe it. But I think the trust that I continue to bring up with Trevor in the offensive line, and I'm not trying to say, if we had Trevor on right now, it'd be like, hey, Trevor, you trust the offensive line? Yeah, of course I trust the offensive line. I think he does. I think he trusts the players there. But there's a next level of trust where you feel comfortable and in a rhythm and don't worry about anything, and I don't think he's there. I don't think they've given him enough confidence to be there. So it's almost like this subconscious with Trevor that he at times can be a little bit out of rhythm because of the way that offensive line's playing, and therefore there's a little lack of confidence in the play call to go deep, and I think that could change with Cam Robinson and Tyler Shatley on the blind side of Trevor Lawrence.
The next question comes from Crixus, who wonders if Doug may have any tricks up his sleeve with Cam returning, or even without Cam returning. Is there something that you think Doug's holding back for a game like the Buffalo Bills before he whips out some big, mysterious player? Do you think we've pretty much seen what it is? And as the game develops, we'll see a little more of it.
You know, I've seen a lot of these charts, you know, like the I would call them the dot charts, if you will. Like they put all the dots of where the passes are right now for each team, or where the Jags are and where they're throwing it. And everything's short, right? Everything's quick. It's get the ball out of your hands. It's an occasional deep ball. But that's a little bit of this offense that we saw last year, too, for most of the season. And what they did at the tail end of the season, in my opinion, is they started to move the ball down the field a little bit more vertically. But it took a while. It wasn't in the first month. It wasn't in the first 2 months. What I thought we would see this year is a little more vertical play early in the season because of the familiarity of everybody that's coming back in this offense in year 2 of Doug's system. We really haven't seen that. And I think in part we haven't seen that because the offensive line has been way more leaky than last year's team, even in the early going, was. So do I think there are tricks that he hasn't used? Not really. But do I think there's more of an evolution to this passing game as the season goes along? I do. And I think we could see more of those down the field concepts, back shoulder passes. Have we seen a back shoulder pass like 20 yards down the field yet to Ridley? Maybe one against Indy?
Maybe.
Like, why wouldn't we see that more? You know, like, I think those are some of the plays to push the ball down the field. And Trevor is measuring out to be very good on those throws so far this year. Just hasn't been a lot of them. And it's in his MO to like to push the ball down the field anyway. He's definitely not trying to make any mistakes, but he does like to go down the field with the football and throw that long pass. So I would answer that with, is it a trick? No. But there's an evolution to an offense during the course of a season, and maybe Doug gets to that part of it quicker than he got to it last year.
James Endell teaming up for this next question. James noticed in the Doug presser that he mentioned how flexible Walker Little's been, which makes James think that he can kick inside to left guard, and he's thinking that maybe that was a little bit of a clue. And then Dell on top of that says Walker got reps at left guard last offseason but never beat out Barch or Shatley. He was basically a swing tackle until Cam got hurt. He's wondering if it's set in stone that Walker Little's going to be the left guard, or is this just more speculation from us?
Yeah, I think it's what's a good way to say it? Sure, it's a bit of speculation, but I think it's calculated speculation. I think there's plenty of thought inside the building, thought that we've heard that this could happen, and that's why they were getting reps. And by the way, they said it in the preseason. They were giving him reps in the preseason to get him ready for when the switch was made. So they want to get Walker Little on the field. We just said it. We think he might be their best lineman right now, and maybe not even a maybe. He is their best offensive lineman right now. So you have to find a spot for him somewhere. Well, their weakest link outside of maybe a right tackle who's a rookie and you're invested in is probably the left guard spot. Ben Barch hasn't played as well as they had hoped, and I just don't think they want Tyler Shatley out there at his age and his size every game unless he has to be. And so that brings Walker Little into play. So, yeah, it's a little speculation. I also think it's logic, and I also think there's a bunch of evidence that suggests when Cam Robinson gets back in the lineup, Walker Little is going to left guard. He's not going over to right tackle to take the place of Ronnie Harrison.
Anton Harrison.
Well, there you go. I'm sorry, Ronnie Harrison. I go all the way back to Ronnie Harrison, who's now moved to right tackle from safety for the Jacks. Oh, man. What time is it over here? What time is it back there? It's that kind of week, I guess. Good catch, by the way, Ronnie Harrison. Is Ronnie Harrison still playing?
No.
He was playing for Cleveland at last check. Is he still in the league?
I don't think he is. I'll double check it. Yeah.
Hey, we'll take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. A lot more football talk to go. We'll hear from some of the guys in the locker room. Had a fun interview with Josh Allen and DeJuan Smoot. So we'll talk a little bit about Smoot coming up in just a bit as well. We're live in London and Action Sports Shack Studios filled with Kasey Kuhrts and Aaron Schachter as well. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Our London coverage presented by Bolt City Heating and Air.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how's the back pain now? 22.
Wonky work from home desks have Dane's Acupuncture booked up.
You need to get in, but this week's so full.
But finding more practitioners has them on pins and needles.
You know my lunch is in 20 minutes. How fast can you get here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey, do you like beer?
Yeah.
What about great food and lederhosen? Then you're
going to love the 4th Annual Oktoberfest at Kingmaker Brewing in Riverside. Sponsored by 1-to-1 Financial Credit Union. Kingmaker has the only Oktoberfest in Jacksonville that spans 2 whole weekends.
Right.
September 28th to October 8th. That's 10 days of good food, great beer, and amazing local businesses. Learn more or grab VIP tickets at kingmakerbrewing.com. Oktoberfest, September 28th to October 8th. Kingmaker in Riverside. Brought to you by Jacksonville's hometown credit union, 1-to-1 Financial. Dunk it.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com. Experience wins when buying or selling your home. Changing markets and rates make for challenging times these days. Bass Professional Realty can guide you through those times and open the door to a new home or lock the door on your old home one final time with a good experience thanks to their experience. Bass Professional Realty has been serving Northeast Florida this entire century. Last year, Nancy Bass and Bass Professional Realty were voted a top real estate firm in Jacksonville. Have a good home selling or buying experience with the experienced team of Bass Professional Realty. Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Exergen thermometers are the smart choice when selecting a thermometer. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Got a fever? Stay home. To detect fever accurately at home, you need a clinically accurate, fast, and non-invasive thermometer. The Exergen thermometer is backed by over 100 clinical studies. Accuracy matters. Be smart and safe. Measure accurately with Exergen thermometers. Available at Walgreens and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
What are we missing back in Jacksonville? Anything exciting going on? Nothing exciting here tonight in London, guys, because Stuart just said, hey, if you want to watch darts, it's on channel 409 in your room.
Cool. Man, what a bummer. What'd you guys do in London? Watch darts on TV. Yuck. No thanks.
No thanks.
Well, look, you missed the big Skinnerd interview today. They got 2 nights they're playing at the St. Augustine Amphitheater on the 5th and 6th. So that's a big happening this week in town. Kasey's birthday present showed up today.
It's raining.
And it's raining.
Oh, it did?
It did, yeah. Kasey's trying to act like it's not a big deal, but I know he's very excited about it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. He looks at me, he goes, I can't sell this.
It's not what I said. It's not true.
I feel like that's what you said. You said it to me the other day.
What is that again? What'd you get?
Show Brent. Tell him.
Show Brent.
Yeah, it's
He's
right
not
next
here.
to you. He's looking at the stream, maybe.
The boys, this is super thick. Holy cow.
Yeah, bro.
The boys got me a reprint autograph of Rachel McAdams.
Bro, why you got to throw reprint as the first word?
It's what the first
I
word
mean,
of the list.
easy, buddy. It's the thought that counts, Case.
That looks good, Kasey.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You didn't have to chase anyone down at the airport to get it either. It was a nice birthday present.
I appreciate it.
Sitting here looking at its value.
You know what I appreciate about Kasey? That he keeps repping that Dream 18 hat. I like that about Kasey.
I wish I couldn't.
You
See,
just keep repping that forehead of yours, Aaron.
Oh, jeez. That came out of left field, Brent. That was kind of harsh. Here's the truth with the Dream 18 hat, just to be honest with you. I might as well throw this out there. Asked for a new one, didn't get it. Dream 18 hat is destroyed. Worn it every day for the last, since you gave it to me about a month and a half ago. Hair is atrocious. Need a cut desperately.
Totally.
But just have no motivation to go, right? Go to job
I
one.
got a guy.
Come to job two.
If you got 3.5 extra minutes, Brent's got a guy.
I don't, because then I get home, I'm awake for 2 hours. It's just a mess. So I don't have time to get it cut. So the Dream 18 hat is really doing some work up here, hiding the hair. But I do want to say, Brent, because of the $500 situation, because of the kettle corn situation, I desperately wish I was not wearing this hat, but low-key it fits my head really well.
Ooh.
Well, that's good. Do you need another one in lieu of the $500 and kettle corn?
He does, but he wants the kettle corn.
No, if we're negotiating, that's not how that's going to go. I'm not going to give up $500 and the corn for a hat that I already have.
Yeah, you're giving up a lot in that.
Right? So that's not going to happen.
It's like J.C. Jackson for a fifth rounder.
We're going to have to... If Front Porch Kettle Corn is listening, we're going to need $500 worth. Sorry. When you drop that out.
All right, now we're
Fill
talking.
up the studio with kettle corn.
All right, we're talking now at least.
Yeah, Casey's happy now.
That way everybody wins. I feel like I got $500 and I got kettle corn. I mean, Front Porch Kettle Corn ain't winning, but
I know you've been busy, Aaron, but is this the picture that we're going to use the entire week of me? Or are we going to mix this up a little bit? Because
anymore.
I look like I'm going to the Olympics to be an English horseback rider.
Nope, I think tomorrow you're going to be stuck on Mary Poppins' body now. You want to talk trash, Brent? You're going to suffer the consequence.
Isn't there a different one coming up next, or no?
There might be. He had a different one where he's holding on to his London pipe while he interviews somebody on the phone, maybe?
Pipe. Yeah.
All right, Brent, we'll switch it up. That's fine.
Delphonic said... Delphonic said I might get Casey a reprint of Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting for his birthday.
Why, Del? Why would you waste your money, Delphonic? He wouldn't even know what he's looking at. He'd be like, "This is a weird picture of young Matt Damon. Was he in high school?"
I don't know what's even going on in that picture. I at least know what's going on in the notebook
How
picture.
do you like them apples?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
I got a number.
Yeah, none of that makes any sense.
It would if you watch the movie.
I'm not going to. Let's get out of here, boys.
That's all you got to do is watch the movie, man. Let's definitely get out of here for now. We got 4 o'clock hour coming up. Billy Andrade visits us, and then we get back to some football talk on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. I want to let you know that this UAW strike will not affect your vehicle purchase with Nimnick's family of dealerships. They understand that you may have concerns about the recent UAW strike, and they want to assure you that this will not impact your ability to purchase vehicles from them. In fact, they are proud to announce they currently have the strongest inventory levels in years. They'll never use external factors like strikes or as an excuse to raise prices. They'll continue to offer strong incentives to make your purchase even more affordable. Nimnick family of dealerships, your friends in the car business since 1941. NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** Invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
This is Ortho Health Insights. Tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Most people experience pain in or around their feet or ankles at some point in their lives. Walking, hiking, stretching, body weight lifting, and yoga can help keep your feet and ankles strong. Pay attention to your shoes. Whether you're taking a long walk or a quick trip to the grocery store, make sure you wear shoes that fit well and have good support and cushioning. If you're experiencing foot or ankle pain that seems to be getting worse, the orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000 or go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond hot. HammondAir.com.
Many of us enjoy being DIYers. Do you really need a financial advisor for retirement? Or can you just do that yourself too?
I wondered about that.
Well, it depends. Have the Talon Wealth team create a comprehensive financial plan personalized for you at no cost. Then you can compare what you're doing to what's possible with a team of fiduciaries on your side.
Okay.
Schedule now at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
If you've been following along, you know about my weekly successes with Awaken 180. I say weekly because every week the number keeps going down. Hey, it's Brian Middleton, and it's now been 5 weeks with Awaken 180, and that number is now 28.6 pounds. It sounds crazy to say, but in just 5 weeks, I've dropped 28.6 pounds, and I'm doing it without sacrificing the flavor. With Awaken 180, I'm eating everything from pancakes to steak, and thanks to over 1,000 recipes, everything is already laid out for me. Like one of my favorites for dinner last week were the chili lime chicken burgers with avocado salsa. And the only difference, I have the guidance to ensure I'm doing it the right way. I started Awaken 180 because I needed a change, to make a 180 with my health, and honestly, to just feel better. I have a little ways more to go, but I know I'll get there with the solution for weight loss. Do what I'm doing and put more life in your life at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., it's Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, and check us out right here on ESPN 690.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Rangers can end the Rays season with a win in Game 2 of their American League wildcard series against the Rays today. Texas has gotten on the board first. Adolis Garcia, a solo shot off Zach Eflin. Texas up 1-0 on Tampa, top 4. NBA James Harden practiced with the 76ers today. He missed media day in the first training camp practice as he continues to push for a trade to the Clippers. Harden might be in Philly for a while, explains ESPN NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
Both the Sixers and the Clippers, their need for James Harden isn't necessarily over 82 games. It's to have him ready to go for the playoffs. Certainly, he helps you get through the regular season. He helps you get a better seed. But this is not a trade that has to happen in the short term.
NFL cornerback J.C. Jackson heading back to where his NFL career began. The Chargers trading him to the Patriots for a late-round 2025 draft pick. He hasn't played down for L.A. the last couple of weeks. Broncos release linebacker Randy Gregory. He becomes a free agent.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll give you my biggest takeaways from the second day of the baseball playoffs. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour here. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. A lot more Jags discussions on the way. Josh Allen has been interesting this year, guys. It went from us talking after week one, like, wait a minute, not so fast on this guy, to boom, immediately back into the MVP race and maybe the leader as the early MVP. Isn't that pretty wild? Like, obviously it's a week-to-week league, but how you feel about things changes week to week. And there was some evidence with all the turnovers last year of Josh Allen, and then to start the year the way he turned over, I think it was 3 interceptions and a fumble. Yeah, because the one player picked it off 3 times, I believe, for the Jets in that game. And now you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? And he flips it. I mean, I guess that's what great players do, Aaron. Like, you just flip it, and that's not who you are, and you can change it just like that. And now he's been brilliant.
All right, 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I'm not ready to anoint him the king of the NFL, but he has been playing nice the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's not only that he's playing nice, it's that they're in a groove offensively, averaging over 30 a game, one of the top offenses in the NFL. They also have a very good defense, too, statistically. Mentioned the 16 sacks. I mean, this is a complete team. The Jags have actually had the Bills' number a bit, though. I wonder if that plays a role in any way, shape, or form. And Kasey had brought this up earlier in the show, that, like, the Jags don't feel like they're the team that should be now with the upper echelon of the league because of their performance the first month. Their offense isn't cooking the way everybody thought it was going to. But that changes like Monday morning and Sunday night if they beat the Bills.
Yeah, totally.
Right? I mean, it really does change. It's like, oh, these are the Jags. Like, if the Jags win this game 34-27 or 34-31 or you name it, I think they do need to score for us to feel better about the Jags. So I don't know if you can win this thing like 17-13. It wouldn't stink. Like, that's fine if they won it that way. But I think it would help if they won it by kind of outrunning them and gunning them and outscoring them and then holding them to below their season average in points. And then you're like, you know what? This team is for real. No. They can beat the best in the NFL.
It'd be great. You know, week one was week one, and week one could be a little bit wonky. So the game against the Texans is ultimately what is currently the main ingredient defining what the fan base is kind of feeling about the Jaguars. Although last week went a long way to wash some of that bitterness out, a little sugar in that Atlanta Falcons game. But if you're running up 35 points on the Buffalo Bills and you're winning that game, that's a heap full of sugar to throw down the gullet with that medicine for sure.
There you go. Very good. Brent Martineau over here in London. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts back in the Action Sports Studios in Jacksonville. And right now, we're going to have some fun with this one. Thrilled to be joined by fellow Rhode Islander, Billy Andrade. He's playing in the Constellation Furyk and Friends golf tournament this weekend, Champions Tour event over at the beautiful Timuquana Country Club. Pro-Ams today and tomorrow. And Billy grew up in Bristol, Rhode Island, Providence Country Day. I went to East Providence High School. He doesn't remember me from covering a CBS Charity Classic while I worked in Providence a little bit. But we can both tell stories about Patrick Little. Billy, hope you're doing well, man.
I'm doing great, and just to let everybody know that East Providence High School used to pick on the prep school boys from Providence Country Day every day.
Not this guy. I did play baseball on that field, though, which is a beautiful field over at PCD. Glad you're doing well, and man, great to see you still playing golf and at a high level. You've won 3 times on the Champions Tour, and now you come into Jacksonville and play in Jim Furyk and Tabitha Furyk's event. Must be a great thrill to be able to continue your competitive career at the age of 59.
Absolutely, it's been an absolute thrill. This is my 10th year on the Champions Tour. I'm still very competitive. Right now, I'm 38th on the money list, so top 36 get to go to the Schwab Cup final in November. So that's my goal, is to get there. So starting here in Jacksonville, and then we got next week in Raleigh, our last 2 tournaments before our playoffs start, and then we go to Richmond, Boca Raton, and then the final in Phoenix. What Jim and Tabitha Furyk have done here in Jacksonville is just absolutely spectacular. This golf course, this tournament, their energy, The fans come out, which is really, really cool. Timuquana is just a classic golf course that's not easy. Let me tell you, you got to, be on your game, especially trying to hit some of these greens that have the typical Donald Ross knobs and stuff. So he's got a great field, and I'm really excited about being here this week.
Billy Andrade with us, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. He grew up caddying a little bit at Wannamoisa Country Club, a Donald Ross design. Timuquana Country Club reminds me a little bit of that because of another Ross design. How much of this playing in this event is because of where you're at the money list and also just the next competitive event? And then you just said nice things about Jim and Tabitha Furyk. How much of this is trying to support their event and what they're doing here in Jacksonville with the third annual Furyk and Friends golf tournament?
Well, right next to the 10th tee, there's a sign up, and it's I think it's $1.4 million they've raised in 2 years for local charities and charities that they support here in the Jacksonville area. And we're doing that all through golf. We're doing that playing a Champions Tour event. He brought it here to his home, and he got Constellation and Get On Board, Circle K. Last night we were at the stadium, the football stadium, at the Pro-Am draw party. Jim is full on. Tabitha, they're full on. This is their event, and all the players that are here are excited about being here. He's got a hell of a field. Last year Stricker won, and he's back defending. So it's going to be a great week. We've had some rain and some wind here the last few days. Golf course I think is playing as long as I've ever seen it. So it's going to be very, very challenging, and we're just excited. The Champions Tour is a great tour. We have 26 tournaments. This is a perfect stop, being the third to last. There's a lot on the line. There are guys trying to jockey for position, guys trying to keep their status, guys that are trying to win again. So there's a lot happening this week, and we're all excited about playing here.
Billy, the Champions Tour, I don't know. I mean, it's always a good thing, but I don't know if it's ever had this many names, or maybe it's just because I'm 46 years old and remember all the names, and you obviously played with all these guys on the PGA Tour as well. But we're in a time frame, the cycle of life, where these big names that played for so long on the tour and accomplished so many things are now here at events like this, like Jim, like Steve Stricker, like Davis Love III, like yourself, like Vijay Singh. I mean, the list goes on and on. The Colin Montgomerys of the world. I mean, it's a heck of a field here in Jacksonville for the Constellation Furyk and Friends event.
It really is. The last couple of years with, Patty Harrington came out as well. He's another one. And that comes to mind. It's, I call it like a renaissance period that, all these players have come out at 50. They've all been very competitive. They've all played well. They've all won. And that's what you want. You want your stars to play well. And our stars are coming out here at 50. I'm going to be 60. I can't believe it. I'm going to be 60 in January. So I've been doing this out here for 10 years. And the scoring is just amazing. What you have to shoot to win. The skills, these guys still have great skill sets. They're still competitive, and it's so much fun. It's a little less stressful than the PGA Tour, I would say. There's a lot more smiles on people's faces. I don't see as many, teachers out here teaching guys and entourages or any of that stuff. It's just pure golf, and it's just so much fun to be at our ages and still do what we have done our whole lives and be competitive at it. And we're on television and we're still doing what we love to do. It's pretty amazing.
In Jacksonville, make sure you get out there to Timuquana Country Club, get up close to these stars on the Champions Tour and watch some fantastic golf. 54-hole event begins on Friday, obviously runs through Sunday. And Jim does it right. I mean, he knows this is a huge football area. They'll have big screen TVs around college football on Saturday, the NFL games on Sunday, including the one we're at over here in London as the Jaguars will play the Bills at 9:30 in the morning on Fox in Jacksonville. I'll just keep you for 2 more minutes, Billy. You mentioned the stars. Obviously, the stars of the United States in the Ryder Cup didn't perform well. How much conversation is going on about the Ryder Cup? Was it just a tip your cap to Europe and what they have and what they did? Or is there something that golfers are talking about that have so much invested into the United States golf team that needs to be fixed?
Well, I mean, everybody can be an armchair quarterback. You're going to have a winner, you're going to have a loser. And when you lose, you can start pointing fingers or saying, why did these guys play with that guy? And why did, this guy didn't play well enough? What was Ricky Fowler's situation? There's so much stuff that us as fans that we really don't know. And we weren't in those team rooms, and we don't know what was totally going on. But Zach Johnson and Davis Love and Steve Stricker and Jim Furyk and Stuart Sink and Fred Couples, these captains and assistant captains are all very knowledgeable golfers. And, you're trying to rally these young kids around you to have them play their best. And, I like what you said when you asked me the question. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap and just say, hey, you know what? Their best players play better than our best players. They actually, they waxed them. And you know what? You got to just hand it to them. Rory was unbelievable. Rahm was unbelievable. Fitzpatrick was unbelievable. Those guys, their best players played incredible golf, chip-ins and making putts on the 18th hole. And you know what? At the end of the week, you just got to say, hey, you know what? Way to go. You guys beat us. You guys waxed us. You guys were way better this year. And you know what? In 2 years, we're going to do it again at Bethpage Black in New York, and hopefully it'll be more competitive for the U.S. side. But I'll tell you, those guys in Europe, they seem to really enjoy themselves. They're laughing, having fun. They got Shane Lowry running around, yelling and screaming, and our guys seem maybe a bit uptight, maybe just a little trying to be a little too perfect. I don't know. I mean, I've watched as much as everybody, and you're rooting for the U.S. team, but at the end of the day, you got to be, you just got to tip your cap, like I said.
Bethpage is going to be rocking in a couple of years. All right, I'm going to leave you with this, and a big-time congratulations as a kid who grew up in Rhode Island and attended and watched the evolution and the start of your CVS Charity Classic along with Brad Faxon, then covered it while I was working in Providence at TV station. I really can't believe, and this isn't a knock, just sometimes these things don't last this long, Billy. I mean, how have you guys been able to keep doing this 20-plus years? I think it's well over $3 million raised for charities. Hopefully I have that number right. But congratulations to you and Brad and how you continue to do it.
Well, it was, we started it back in 1999. We had no idea how it was going to turn out. We did it for 23 years. It has now gone away. It's we don't have it anymore. COVID kind of killed us, but in the 23 years in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, we raised over $25 million. So that makes me very proud. I know it makes Brad proud. It makes CVS proud. So it was a great run. Unfortunately, runs do come to an end. It was not my decision. If it was my decision, we'd continue to still have it, but I don't make that call. But it was amazing. We had the greats of the game. We had the young stars that came. Rory came one year, Jack, Arnie, Gary Player. It was pretty amazing. A little state like Rhode Island that we could command a tournament like that. It was a great event. I'm glad that you were able to partake in it and help us with it. And it's a part of my life that I'll never ever forget. That's for sure.
Well, it was an unbelievable run, and I knew I shortchanged you big time. I knew it was well over. It had to be a bigger number than it was, $25 million.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that
you
is
went to East Providence. If you went to Country Day, the numbers would come out just no problem. But I get it.
You're not wrong about that, by the way. Just a dumb sports guy over here. And, hey, I want people to know that, though. When you went 23 years on that thing, that is like, seriously, it's like twice as long as a lot of those kind of events go. They usually just run its course. So it really was a heck of a run. So congratulations to you guys. And I knew it meant a lot to the state of Rhode Island and a lot of the folks in Rhode Island. Great to catch up with you, Billy Andrade. Go play well and make that Schwab Cup. Good luck at Timuquana Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
That is Billy Andrade. He'll be playing at the Constellation Furyk and Friends golf tournament at Timuquana Country Club on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Go out there and check it out. Again, you can get up close to these guys. The field's unbelievable. Obviously, David Duval, Chris DeMarco, guys that you know that really have local ties to just about anybody in the golf world that you can remember on the PGA Tour, including the likes of John Daly and Fred Funk and so many more. So a big hat tip to Jim and Tabitha Furyk for their continued success at a great venue. Hopefully you get good weather, guys. You guys were telling me that the rain, a bunch of rain. Billy just mentioned the rain. I think I saw Gary Smith say today there was like some squalls out there today in Jacksonville. So hopefully the weather clears up in time to have some good October weather in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it cooled off a little bit post the rain, but it's been pretty decent here the last couple of days. So,
well, we've had unbelievable weather. Did I tell you that yet?
You
the
did.
Sun's
You
been
told
out every
us
day.
yesterday, and it sounds gorgeous. Mid-70s and sunny is great.
Today was a little chill in the air, finally. Like you had to put a little coat on in the morning and maybe even as the sun started to go down. But sunshine and rainbows I brought right over here to London as well, even on the countryside today.
Nice.
At Hanbury Manor, where the Jacksonville Jaguars are practicing over the next couple of days. We are going to hear from a couple more Jaguars players. We had a chance to catch up to some more Trevor Lawrence on the way as well. To go back to what we were talking about before Billy joined us, I don't know how you slow this Bills offense down if they're clicking. They've got two tight ends that they can move around and match up. They obviously have Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen can make every throw. And now you even said they're running the football. I mean, good offenses are good offenses for a reason, guys. They're hard to slow down. Now, the Miami Dolphins were cooking, and then the Bills slowed them down because they got pressure. Usually the way to slow anyone down, the great Patriots offenses with Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, get pressure, hit them, move them off the spot. Now, moving some guys like Mahomes and even Allen off the spot can also be problematic because they can extend plays and then find guys that are running free because the corners just can't cover for that long. But, I mean, you kind of got to just hold down the fort, be opportunistic, and then hope they make a mistake a little bit. I don't know the true answer on how you stop this Buffalo Bills offense as it's performing the last few weeks.
I think when it comes to bad or mediocre teams, you can take one phase of the game that they're good with and focus on it, and that'll do it. But with a team like the Buffalo Bills or later in the year with the San Francisco 49ers or even the Bengals if they get healthy, like you have to shut down multiple phases of football to win that football game. You not only have to bait Josh Allen into turning the ball over, you need a stout run defense as well. You not only have to hold the pass rush off of Trevor, but you got to make sure that the receivers are getting separation because very few do against that secondary, of course, when it's healthy. And granted, they're not exactly healthy right now.
Well, to add to it, Kasey, is they added a tight end in Kincaid, and they've already got Dawson Knox. And, you know, everybody says this a lot to us during our shows or on social media during a game. It's like, oh, Jags, they can't stop tight ends. And you know what my first response is all the time? And a lot of this is scar tissue from, you know, years ago where the tight ends really ate them up. But I go to this now, Kasey. I don't think anybody can stop tight ends. If you have a good tight end and a good scheme, they're tough to defend. And look at what the Jags are doing. Evan Ingram leads tight ends in receiving. He leads this Jags offense, which hasn't been clicking. He leads them in receiving. Like, he's got 25 catches. And you're looking at Laporta for Detroit, young tight end. He leads with Ingram tight ends in receiving. I think it's the same number. I think they both have 25. And what the Bills are doing. So, like, I don't know if it's a Jags thing in terms of what you can do with tight ends. I also think the best offenses usually have a dynamic one or two. And in this case, the Bills seem like they've got a couple.
Yeah, the tight end's just a matchup that you don't really want in any team, really. If you've got a guy like a Travis Kelce or an Evan Ingram or even Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox at times has been that. I don't think any one of those two guys is going to tear up the Jags this weekend, but I also think when you look up, they will both probably have a couple of catches, 30, 40 yards, and then you put those together, and it's probably another 100-yard day for the tight end position. But there's just a lot of really good tight ends unless you're on my fantasy team, because I'd be picking up tight ends left and right, Brent, and I couldn't disagree with you more. These dudes I'm picking up just can't get 5 yards. So, like, there's some good ones in the league, but then also if you don't have one, you don't have one.
Yeah, well, good news is the Jags have one, and Buffalo has two. That's the bad news. Well, you know, it is funny. All right, go give me the top offense in the NFL right now.
Buffalo, Miami, the Eagles, the Niners, the The Cowboys.
Okay, so the Eagles, the Niners, the
Cowboys
Bills.
all have quality tight ends.
Yeah, but Goddard's been nowhere to be found all
Cowboys
year.
But he is quality. Maybe not playing with the biggest stat line this year, but he's quality.
And was it Ferguson who's playing pretty well for the Cowboys?
Correct.
What's Miami? Miami Miami does it different a little bit anyway because
they pass to everyone but the tight end. Yeah,
I think it's your boy Brent. I forget his name. Ashland, right? Isn't he their tight end?
Gesicki?
Nah, he's not still on there. Nah.
They got rid of Gesicki, I thought.
Shaheen's not on there anymore.
Shaheen is your boy. I thought
unless he came back to him.
No, he didn't come back. I thought it was Durham Smythe or whatever. I thought that was your boy. I think that's their tight end.
Nah. Adam Shaheen was the Ashland guy, but
Miami's tight end is Smythe.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Like, listen, some of the great tight ends doesn't always equate to great offense. I mean, look at the Giants. Waller should be producing way better than he is. Is that Daniel Jones' fault? Is that the scheme fault? Is that his fault? I don't know. Baltimore has a decent offense, but they're not like an explosive offense, and Mark Andrews is very good. Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, they can't get him going. I mean, he's an extreme talent. I still believe that, but they can't get him going. So, I mean, it doesn't mean you have an explosive offense. I mean, look at the Jags. I mean, Ingram's playing great, and they're not explosive right now. But it does seem like they are a weapon or a threat in some of the top offenses around the National Football League. And even if it doesn't hold true for every team this year, it seemingly has the last few years.
I agree. And I do think different tight ends can do different things. You talked about Laporta. I think about Pitts as a way different product than a Sam Laporta. And, man, this last week I've seen at least 6 or 7 X videos on X with Kyle Pitts just screaming with his hands wide open. No one to be found near him from the Jaguars, and Desmond Ridder not even paying attention to him. But a guy like Evan Ingram, I mean, that's a guy you're using on the outside, but a guy like Mark Andrews, he's a real red zone threat. The Baltimore Ravens #1 in red zone in the league, and Andrews is a huge part of that.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go back to sum up this conversation. Do you guys think the Jags stink at covering tight ends? Or just tight ends hard to cover if they're good?
It's a tough question. The times you pay attention are when the tight end is a big part of the opposing team's game. So, like, tight ends that come to mind in that sense are guys like Travis Kelce with, like, who covers Travis Kelce well? And then you go, okay, well, they covered Kyle Pitts
him very well a couple weeks ago.
I guess that's the case because the offense really wasn't playing well, but you're right. But, like, Kyle Pitts, no one needs to cover him well because he's not getting targeted. He's not getting the ball. So I think it's still hard to tell about Doug's team versus top-tier tight ends, but it has been a weak link in the chain before, Case.
They are better than they were before, but I do not know if that means they're great.
I like the way you said that, Kasey, because, again, I think I'm asking this question right now on social media, and I guarantee you people are going to be like, yeah, they stink. And what they do remember is a lot of the defenses, Gus Bradley's defense, Todd Wash's defense, they didn't cover it well. It really did expose if you didn't have a cover linebacker, and the Jags just didn't have enough of them or do a good enough job in it. They've tried a bunch of things over those years. I do think the Jags are better equipped now with the personnel they have to manage the tight end position, but I also believe this is what we're saying. You can't defend everybody, and these tight ends are so diverse, and I think it makes it just tricky on defenses, like if they are going to find spots in there. So I don't think you can shut down the tight end position if they execute what they want anymore. I just think it's a really hard thing to do, although I don't mind seeing Rayshon Jenkins on a tight end, or if Andre Sisco has to sneak in on one, or Devin Lloyd, he's not playing these couple weeks. I think the Jags can match up a little bit better. So what will they do with Kincaid and Knox? How much will they utilize them? The bottom line is you got to pick your poison against Buffalo, man. They got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of weapons, and I just don't think you can deny it all. So when you get a chance to make a play, the Jaguars better make a play. If the Jags win, this is going to be one of those games where Buffalo might accumulate quite a bit of yardage, but they stall in the red zone and kick field goals, or there's a play or two that turns the game because of a turnover. And once again, the Jaguars very good on that front. They are top 5 in the NFL in forcing turnovers. We'll be back, Brent Friends, live from London on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A mix of clouds and sun today and some haze and breezy. A few brief showers, highs reaching into the 80s. An isolated shower overnight tonight in the 60s and partly cloudy tomorrow. Still a few scattered showers and highs near 85. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
The downsides to a 401k are limited investment options. What we'll find, and nothing against anybody who's doing it. Listen, if I wasn't an investment advisor, I might even be doing the same thing. But lots of target date funds. We don't like the target date funds because they only take into consideration the date. They don't take into consideration anything else. I think they give investors in retirement plans a false sense of security.
More at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
QC Kinetics is helping you see the future of joint pain relief. It's here, and it is with QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, well, don't be so fast to do that. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. Get that opinion with QC Kinetics. You can call for a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. And we're talking about lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Life is about motion, staying in motion. QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back. Get a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience Used-phoria with Car Bravo online at NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy. Don't miss the legend live. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
Denise is a Pilates instructor and a small business owner.
And a mom, too.
And at Community First, we get that. We get you.
So you can just be yourself.
To get the financial services you need, learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Welcome back to London. We are live in London, have been all week. We'll be continued to be here all week. That was good English. The next couple of days, we'll have Brent Friends on ESPN 690, 3 to 6 here from London. In fact, tomorrow we'll be at the Pavilion End. That's where we are doing Jaguars All Access. It's a pub, which has basically been the Jaguars' like home pub. It was packed on Saturday last week, and 2 levels of fans. It was a lot of fun. I expect a little of the same on Saturday when they have another party at 4 o'clock. And hopefully we'll have some folks out. So if you know anybody over here, and or if you're already over here and somehow listening to us, we'll be at the Pavilion End tomorrow for Jaguars All Access. That will be 7:30 our time is when we're doing the show. We're recording the show to be played back live in Jacksonville later at night. And then hopefully going to stay over there and do the show here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 right from the pub. So that is the plan. If the plan goes accordingly, we will find out. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Kasey, I apologize that your team got screwed by Major League Baseball and is playing 2 afternoon games to start the playoffs. Why?
Brent, I don't want to talk about it because I'll get fired.
Maybe only because 15,000 people show up to these games.
Well, because only 15,000 people are going to show up if it's a 3 o'clock game. Now, listen, that's bad on Tampa. I get it. It was a bad look. It was some crazy, like the least amount of fans at a
postseason game.
Playoff game. I think somebody said since like 1918 or
something 1919,
like
yeah.
Really a goofy stat.
Yeah.
1919, it is a bad look, Kasey, for Tampa, considering they just got a stadium approval.
You think?
Like, that's awful.
Yes, 1919, the great potato famine of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awful, Brent, overall. I don't blame Major League Baseball, though, one bit, because if you just watch this steaming hot pile of garbage that the Rays have ran out there for 2 straight days, they really should have put them on at like midnight Eastern. That would have been the best option because they are getting boat raced by the Texas Rangers, who all of their players are hurt as well. So real bad situation. Fan turnout in Tampa, not good. Don't blame them. Probably should have left already. Oh, and as we speak, 6-0, Brent. 6-0. Another double in the gap. These boys stink, Brent. Yeah. This is just the worst.
By the way, Kasey, you're showing your age a little bit right now. Shout out to midnight when all the cool things used to go down. When I was a kid, you had Saturday night's main event. The only time you got to see Hulk Hogan on TV, Macho Man Randy Savage, was Saturday night main event. Saturday Night Live when I was growing up was actually a good show. That was dope. All the great things happened. Midnight Madness, March Madness, Midnight Madness, all that stuff. And now it's where Kasey wants to shove the Rays. No thanks.
Best case scenario.
That's awesome. Man, that Saturday night main event was good stuff. Man. You have Andre the Giant against Hulk Hogan at like midnight. You didn't have to do that pay-per-view crap. It was on real TV.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, it's so great.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good stuff, man. Here's one quick thing, one little thing here. Kasey, like, I'm not really sure Toronto and Minnesota is like a primetime draw. I don't understand why they're getting the evening game both days. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, did you see all the people that showed up, though, in Minnesota?
Yeah, but again,
what happened? What happened?
7-0. Sorry, boys. I thought it was going to be 8, but it's just 7. The ball did actually not get out of the park. It is another double, though. 7-0, Brent. But at least...
How many people showed up in Minnesota?
It was sold out.
Oh.
A sellout.
Yeah, for a night game, right?
Yeah, but still, like...
Was it a night game or an afternoon game?
They were the second slot, so it's like 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
not good, Brent.
I mean, you got to do a little better than whatever it was in Tampa. I mean, I do agree with that. Like, that's
minor league baseball.
Yeah, that's not good. Like that. And there's plenty. Like I said, they just had a stadium approval, and I know the team is a little bit of a shell of itself based on all the injuries. But come on, man, it's the postseason. Like, I'll tell you what, Kasey. I know we don't like to say this for athletes. They're getting paid and all this stuff, but you walk out in a stadium that's half empty at 3:00 to play a playoff game, and you're probably as a player like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, what are we doing this for?
Where is everybody?
Yeah,
you're not wrong. I mean, it's inexcusable, really. I mean, listen, there's how many days of work a year? A lot. How many days of school? Whole bunch. Call off. Shock the world. I would have called off if they weren't playing Texas. They can't beat Texas. I would have skipped out on you guys, left Aaron alone, you in London. I don't care. I would have went, but they can't beat Texas. So either everybody knew, hey, that's a nice play right there. Everybody knew that they couldn't beat Texas, and that's why they didn't show up, or they're just scared to call out of work in school. I don't know what the deal is. But the point is, it's a bad look, and yeah, the players are probably defeated because a lot of empty seats, Brett. Every highlight, there's empty seats in the background.
Probably a really low bar for what you would take off of work for, though, right? Like if Hardee's is doing a 2-for-1 BOGO, you're probably calling out from work.
At least going to be late, bare minimum.
Yeah.
Let's get back to some football.
Please.
Sorry about your Rays, Kasey, but it's over, as you know, and you've been saying since yesterday in about the third inning. So
it's over.
You were right. It is over. Hey, here's my biggest question about the Jags as it comes to an individual player this week, and it's Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had some monster games already this season. He's had monster games in his career. He's had a monster game against the Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills, in fact. What Josh Allen hasn't done a lot of times is put back-to-back games together or a string of 3 or 4 together with these crazy numbers. And by the way, I don't think it has to be crazy like 3 sacks. I'm talking about it's a 3-sack game, then it's a 1.5 sack game, then the next game's a sack game or a 2-sack game, whatever it might be. And he doesn't even totally disappear. I wouldn't say he disappears. I think he still impacts around the game, but you notice him less a week after he might have a big game or a couple weeks later, and then he'll show up again. I think that's the biggest challenge, Aaron, for Josh Allen is to keep this going consistently because he's got his name at the top of the list when it comes to sacks and a lot of other things that pass rushers get graded on. But I think now it's like, okay, can you do this week after week?
You need to, especially coming into this offseason when you know you're playing for a payday. And that's not just a regular athlete playing for a payday. This is a man working on the prime of his career, big-time contract. So this needed to be a big year for Josh Allen, and he's putting it on tape for sure.
Well, I had a chance to catch up with Josh Allen and DeJuan Smoot, who was activated from the PUP list, which means the Jags were able to open that 21-day practice window. That does not mean he will play on Sunday. In fact, I don't think he will play on Sunday. But he's back on the practice field, made the trip, and Josh would not do the interview without DeJuan. So we did the interview together. It's kind of a fun little interview. There are some goofy moments in it, but we also talk football at the end of the day. Here's Josh and DeJuan. Josh already put together this interview, so how's it feel to have DeJuan Smoot back on the practice field?
Feels great.
How's it feel to be on the practice field?
It feels great, actually. It feels good to be back, for sure. Now, we're excited to have him back, though. I know he adds a different level of spice up front for us. You like that? And, I'm excited. I'm really excited, actually. I think it's going to add a very dynamic rush group. I think he's going to have guys that can spice it up, really. And, I'm excited to rush with him.
Can't get too excited yet. Just back on the practice field. Who knows when the games come, but it's been a long road. It must be nice to put your feet on the ground.
Yeah, it's been a long road back, a long 10 months, some nights where, it's really hurting, and other nights where it's really good. So I've just been working, trying to get back as much as possible, trying to get back as fast as possible. And now that it's here, I'm just happy. Just want to thank God for sure.
How will you know that you're ready to go?
Oh, well, I feel like I'm ready to go. If I had to go this week, I would. But, I'm just trying to get acclimated, just trying to fill out the game a little bit more, get my steps back. And I'm back in there next week for sure.
Just coming off another big game for you, how important to stack these games? You've talked about it in the past, consistency, right? Doing it each and every week, and you get another chance to put another big one in front of you.
Focus on what I've been focused on, previous weeks, is to make sure I feel confident. And if I'm confident, I have to be able to study. So studying, nutrition, taking care of my body, all these things need to be due for me to play fast. So, I've been staying consistent on what I need to do pre-snap and pre-snap. What am I talking about? I'll be ready to play football.
Better Josh Allen?
Wait,
which one's the better Josh Allen?
Which one's the better Josh Allen? I mean, we already know. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I know fuel to the fire, but I think we already know.
I'm your teammate. You better say me. What you talking about? What's your hair? Show them all. Put that on us.
Whoa, hey, this is public television. Jesus.
Hey, one last one for you. It's an elite team, a team that's been there.
Definitely.
Obviously, you had a chance against Kansas City. You guys played good defensively, but didn't win. Is it important to beat these kind of teams in the regular season?
Definitely, but I think it starts with the preparation. I think it starts today and how we prepare, how we practice, how we can see things a little bit faster. So when Sunday comes, we can play fast. Obviously, this is number 1, number 2 offense in the National Football League. They have MVP type players on their side of the ball, and defensively they're number 1 in takeaways. So offensively we're going to have a challenge. It's going to be a big challenge for those guys. Defensively it's going to be a big challenge for us. But again, if we prepare, we have that confidence, we play with that swag, I think we can compete with anybody. I think we can beat anybody. So for us, we have to prepare, come out, play with confidence, play with that swag, play like we know we can win this game. I think everything's going to take care of itself.
That's Josh Allen and DeJuan Smoot. It was interesting, guys, when I asked who's the better Josh Allen, DeJuan was in a tough spot because obviously he wanted to say that Josh Allen right next to him, but he also didn't want to give any bulletin board material, I think, to the other Josh Allen. So I kind of put him in a pickle. I probably set him up in not a good way. So a little fun exchange between those guys. Obviously, you can tell they're loose and ready to go, and a long road back for DeJuan Smoot. So this defense that has played well for 3 out of 4 games, fellas, could get Devon Hamilton and DeJuan Smoot back in the next, couple weeks, few weeks, whatever that timetable is. So that could be a heck of a boost.
Totally. And it could really help the team focus in as they get to the harder part of the schedule, especially coming back to the States after London and then coming out of that bye week with some of the bigger teams in the league case. But do you think it's going to make that much of a difference on the pass rush? Do you really see the boost coming? I mean, it's not like we didn't have these guys last year as well.
I mean, on paper, for multiple years, DeJuan Smoot was, on paper, your best guy in the pass rush. So
but
getting him...
It's a relative statement, the best guy on this team.
I get it, but it can't hurt. Going back to earlier in the show, can't hurt. And Devon Hamilton, it looked like, had the highest projection arrow of anybody in training camp and at the end of last season. So it will absolutely help their defense. I would be shy. It couldn't get any worse. These two are two of their better guys. Hopefully they perform, obviously coming back from injuries where we saw Smoot get hurt. We still don't really know what happened to Devon Hamilton, but we know it was a serious situation, as was Smoot. So once they're fully healthy, hopefully they can make an impact. Brent, going back to your question-asking ability, this is like the 3rd interview in a row that I felt like you've asked a question worthy of getting punched in the face. Why do you keep doing this?
He's built different, Case.
What did I ask?
You asked who's the better Josh Allen.
You asked who the better Josh Allen was. Wow, big Josh Allen, who could certainly, at worst, put you in the hospital.
Easy,
for
Case.
asking
You're
a bad
talking
question.
like one of the best pickleball players in town, and no one's putting Brent in the hospital.
It's certainly a decision to ask that question, Brent. What was going through your head when that happened?
I'm fearless, man.
Yeah.
Why are you guys so afraid of this stuff?
Yeah, why are you so afraid,
these aren't
Case?
bad questions. I mean, these questions have to be asked. I had to ask Calvin Ridley about the drop. No problem. I had to ask Chad Mooma about getting juked. No problem. Had to ask Josh Allen, who's a better Josh Allen? Really had to ask the one spoot with Josh standing right there.
Did you have to ask?
Afraid.
Why not? He's not afraid.
Like, I get this. You're not afraid. That's cool, man.
Fair
like,
question.
Shout out to Eminem. You're not afraid of
He's
anything.
not afraid either.
That's
yeah.
awesome. It's much what you be listening to on the iPod. But like Calvin
Get
Ridley,
pumped up for his interview.
The question makes sense, right? Chad Mooma, he did get juked out of his shoes,
You
right?
have to
This
remind
one
him about it. You're right.
It didn't need to be asked, Brent. Like, who's the better Josh Allen? It's like, who's the better Brent? Like, find another Brent and ask him.
Biggest question of the Mooma interview. Hey, chat, you remember when you got juked? That was fun, right?
Brent, you're playing with fire here. Somebody is going to knock you out cold, and frankly, I'm not going to help.
No, he's doing it for the gram, bro. Get the clicks.
But he's not even doing it for the gram. He doesn't know how to work Instagram.
Listen, they're fair questions. These are not unfair questions. I just want to be fair to the players. But you guys get uncomfortable about this stuff. You're uncomfortable right now that I'm asking those questions. Marcel Robinson was uncomfortable about the whole Calvin Ridley stuff.
Wow.
Listen, these questions have to be asked. I'm a hard-hitting but fair journalist.
I like it.
I sit down with mayors and owners now over here in London. I hope you know. We'll be talking to Trevor tomorrow, and well, I'm going to ask him hard-hitting questions,
man.
too.
Yeah, get that dirt off your shoulder. I like it.
Brent, I can't wait till you get punched in the face, dude. Like, I'm not uncomfortable.
ain't getting punched.
I'm just like, hey, he owes me $500. Like, so this is going to happen. Hopefully, I'm not around when he asks all these dumb questions and somebody gets mad. I'm going to be like, by the way, he owes me money. And then hopefully I can turn the whole situation on
good
you.
news, Case. If Trevor, someone hits him in the face, Brent will have that money to pay you back.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That's very good. Hey, real quick, should the Jags look at Randy Gregory, who is no longer a Denver Bronco?
No.
Interested?
Doesn't seem that way.
Absolutely not.
Well, you can't sit here and complain about the pass rush nonstop and not be interested in a player that might be available.
Sure,
He just
I
got
can.
kicked off the worst defense in the league. Yeah.
Brent, he was the worst player on the worst defense in the league. I'll pass. I'll take Schachter.
Randy, are you busy? We kind of need your help helping another team put up 70 on us. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, he put up 70 on the Broncos himself, like $70 million.
That's true.
How about that investment?
How about that?
Crazy. Football at 5 around the corner. We'll be back. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We're live from London. Our London coverage all week presented by Bold City Heating and Air.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Catch Florida State football on Jacksonville's home for ESPN 690. Saturday, the Seminoles try to keep their unbeaten streak intact against the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Our coverage starts Saturday afternoon at 1 with the Florida State Tailgate Show. Then Jeff Colhane, William Floyd, and Tom Block have the call of Knowles Hokies. Kickoff is at 3:30 Saturday. Florida State football is powered by Bass Professional Realty, Bono's Pit Barbecue, and Willie Jewell's Barbecue.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
QC Kinetics is helping you see the future of joint pain relief. It's here, and it is with QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, well, don't be so fast to do that. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. Get that opinion with QC Kinetics. You can call for a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. And we're talking about lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments
go to the very root of the problem using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Life is about motion, staying in motion. QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back. Get a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
Hey, do you like beer?
Yeah!
What about great food and lederhosen? Then you're going to love the 4th Annual Oktoberfest at Kingmaker Brewing in Riverside. Sponsored by One-to-One Financial Credit Union, Kingmaker has the only Oktoberfest in Jacksonville that spans 2 whole weekends.
Right.
September 28th to October 8th. That's 10 days of good food, great beer, and amazing local businesses. Learn more or grab VIP tickets at kingmakerbrewing.com. Oktoberfest, September 28th to October 8th. Kingmaker in Riverside. Brought to you by Jacksonville's hometown credit union, One-to-One Financial. Dunk it.
Hey, poker fans, you're in for a treat this October at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, this is no time to be on the sidelines. Highlights include the $400 GoPo 400 with $40,000 guarantee at Best Bet Orange Park, the $100,000 guarantee St. Augustine Championship, and the return of the World Poker Tour $1 million guarantee at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, let's get to the phone lines quick. 904-362-9901. By the way, you can text or call any day here on the show, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Brent, Aaron, Kasey, and say hello to South Beach Gary, who's bored out of his mind because the Orioles don't play until the weekend.
Yeah, I'm watching these playoff games. Don't worry, Case. The Orioles will take care of Texas when they go to Baltimore this weekend, so don't despair. But how about Brent Musburger? Kasey, we can compare Brent to Brent Musburger. They're both sports media guys.
And then what's the comparison there, Gary?
Well, I mean, you're talking about who the better Josh is. I'm talking about
who's the better
Brent.
Brent?
The bigger Brent name?
I got it.
But, you know, looking realistically, guys, you know, let's face the facts. I mean, Jacksonville's not going to win the game. What did you look at? What did you say before the season, Brent? Well, Jackson would be like 12-5. Realistically, when they go to 2-3, guys, what's their outlook? What's their record? And I told you all before the season started, the division would be much improved. Everybody 2-2 in the division.
Thanks,
Did I tell you that, Brent?
I think
everybody was going to be a lot better.
But listen, everything is going well in your world right now, South Beach Gary. Baltimore made the playoffs for the first time in like 50 years. The Dolphins are scoring 70 points a game. So you're probably right.
They scored 70 once, Brent. Stop anointing them as the kings of the NFL. They were put in a tuna can last week by the Bills.
I think I said 11-6. Wasn't my record 11-6? I'm pretty sure it was 11-6.
I've definitely got some bets.
Can still get to 11-6.
Yeah, sure.
Here's the deal. I already told you, San Francisco did it, Cincinnati did it last year. Jags are going to be 4-4 at the bye week, and then they're going to roll off like 7 out of the last 9. San Francisco and Cincinnati rolled off the rest of them. The Jags are going to be in that category. They're 2-2, and their offense has played like crap. Yeah, that's it. Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Football at 5 coming up next. You know what else?
What else?
You know what else I want to tell you, Aaron?
What?
Your New York teams, the players in those locker rooms, they're getting soft up there.
Oh!
I'll explain why when we come back on ESPN 690.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
The free throw, kind of like our fee. It's free. If you don't win your case, you pay nothing. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, receives more than 3 million calls a year from people just like you. Raindrop.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Many of us enjoy being DIYers. Do you really need a financial advisor for retirement? Or can you just do that yourself too?
I wondered about that.
Well, it depends. Have the Talon Wealth team create a comprehensive financial plan personalized for you at no cost. Then you can compare what you're doing to what's possible with a team of fiduciaries on your side.
Okay.
Schedule now at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
We're in the middle of it now, the fall season, as we hit October on the campus of the University of North Florida. Swoop with the Ospreys, soccer, cross country, volleyball, golf, swimming programs, all in mid-season form. Plenty of events to attend, something for everyone on the campus of UNF. And coming soon, it's men's and women's basketball. The schedule is out, plenty of home games to attend. Bring the family. Season tickets are for sale. Get news, schedules, results, and tickets at UNFOspreys.com. And swoop for the Ospreys all season.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience Used-Phoria with Car Bravo online at NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy. Don't miss the legend live. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Texas having its way in Tampa Bay in Game 2 of their AL wildcard series. Adolis Garcia, Evan Carter of each homer. Josh Young, 3 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. Rangers lead the Rays 7-0, bottom 7. Texas moves on to the division round with a win today. Blue Jays also needing a W to extend their season, visiting the Twins. No score there, bottom 1. NBA, James Harden took part in practice with the 76ers today. He missed media day and the first training camp practice as his push for a trade goes on. By participating today, Harden may have helped himself with his trade request, notes ESPN's Ramona Shelburne.
The way he gets himself traded is by rebuilding his value, is by demonstrating I'm still a really good player in this league and I'll show up and I'll play and be professional. Because anyone trading for him right now is trading for him for 1 year. You cannot sign him to an extension because he picked up that player option.
LSU safety Greg Brooks Jr., who last month underwent surgery to remove a tumor from his brain, has been diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer. Doctors say there is no evidence the cancer has spread in the 22-year-old.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll give you my biggest takeaways from the second day of the baseball playoffs. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available.
Enter the word SHOP at ESPN690.com. That's SHOP by 15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football at 5 we go here on a Wednesday. Brent Martineau along with Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts on ESPN 690 from London all the way to Jacksonville. And hey, yesterday we said a big hello and a welcome and want to do it again to Perfect Rack Billiards, your place to go for all the game action each and every day, and especially on Sundays for your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20. A free shot with every Jags touchdown.
Nice.
Oh, ring them up this Sunday.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Jags offense explodes. Perfect Rack Billiards, the place to be, and it is 75-cent Wing Wednesday today, $3 draft Thursday tomorrow at Perfect Rack Billiards. Hey, I was just looking at Evan Neal, the offensive lineman for the Giants.
Yeah. That's right.
And did you see what he said about the criticism?
No.
I did
that
not.
He's getting?
No, sir.
Did you see? There was actually one play in particular I saw floating around where he went to kind of like, I think it was the tight end that was blocking next to him, and he pushed him right out.
Oh, I did see that play.
Didn't
Yes.
block anybody.
Yes.
It was weird. Like you never. Sometimes just goofy stuff shows up, and that was one of them. Well, this out of New York in the last hour, and he said among his comments, according to this Darryl Slater tweet, quote, "Why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of a sheep?
Boo.
The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere?" And he goes on to say he dares his critics to boo louder and blasts fair weather fans.
Ooh,
meanwhile,
bad news for Evan
you've
Neal.
got all this. Yeah, you've got this other stuff like, with the Jets. Like, it seems like Sauce Gardner's always on social media. And I'm not saying he's saying everything wrong on social media, but the Jets, a couple weeks back, things were starting to come out. I mean, I know it's hard in New York to not hear the noise, but I just get the sense right now some of these younger players I don't feel like they're handling it that well. And that's a dangerous, dangerous thing in New York.
Well, first of all, shout out to Mike R., who said we can't get through a show without me bringing up the Jets. And today, Case brought it up first, and then Brent brought it up. So, Mike R., take that and kick rocks, buddy. Number two. Number two.
Glad to have you on, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I appreciate you being a watcher and a listener. Number two, you're not necessarily wrong about the young Jets, right? Having the bad reactions, although I would say more Breece Hall than a guy like Sauce Gardner. And Sauce has now been in this situation where he'll tweet something and delete it multiple times this young season. We're only 4 games in, and Sauce has already got a ton in the delete column. But Breece Hall is actually the one out there criticizing people and then deleting those tweets. Breece has to get a handle on himself. Today, Robert Saleh said there's no more pitch count on this kid, so he can go out and run the ball as much as he wants. So no more tweets with just football emojis, Brees. Be on the team. Let's play a team game here. But you're right, man. Sauce, Brees, not handling well. Even Garrett Wilson, bad body language, bad sideline behavior, despite the good behavior in the press conference, saying all the right things to the media, not really showing all the right actions during the game. But that's where Aaron Rodgers came in and said, boys, get a handle on it. Be men.
I'll tell you what, Brent, if Evan Neal is out here talking about lions and sheep, you're lucky you're not asking him questions or you would get punched in the face.
Well, the thing with Evan Neal, this is why it's so dumb. Did he not see Zach Wilson just get booed out of the stadium for a year and a half?
That's true.
This man is going to show up to football and never hear the end of it.
Yeah, there's a, it's a tricky spot. I think there are two spots, and they're both ends of the spectrum that are tricky for players. Well, beyond where you're playing, I'll add that in a second. Social media is tricky anyway. Like, you've got to be able to figure it out by now. I know it's tough. I know they get a bunch of it. If you're fired up already, if you're in a bad state of mind, if you're emotional and you read that stuff, it's easy to boom. But the first thing you do after a game or a disappointment can't be to go to social media in some of the Jets cases. The way to handle criticism in New York is not to fight back with criticism in New York. Like, I feel like there are so many lessons learned that it's probably got to be a message that is sent from coaches and people inside the building. They know it, and I guess just some people can't turn it off, or in Evan Neal's situation, he's still going to kind of bite back a little bit. But I do think it's hard in those big markets. New York's always a tough market. I also think it's hard in smaller markets like ours. And it's a different kind of hard. But places like Buffalo, places like Green Bay, places like here in Jacksonville, when you're like the big show in town, it's almost impossible to escape. Like, the noise gets built up because everybody's living it. You know, in New York and Chicago and L.A. and Dallas, I mean, at least you can spread it out over the Texas Rangers and, in L.A. about 15 teams. In New York, you can blame the Knicks. You can, you've got all these different things going on. Here in Jacksonville, it's the Jags and it's everybody else that you can then complain about. So in Buffalo, it's Bills so much ahead of everyone else. And obviously you got the Sabres too, but it's just a different animal, even in the smaller towns. And obviously many of Jags players had to deal with it. They wear it. They hear it. I think these Jags players still hear it, but I think they do a pretty good job overall of understanding the pulse of the city. I think Trevor does this fantastic. He understands the pulse of the city, but doesn't get bent out of shape about sometimes the overreaction in the city. Will he at some point? Maybe. But as a young player who's about to turn 24 later this week, I think he does a good job of handling that. And again, I'll always say this about Trevor. He hasn't had to handle a ton of criticism in his life, so I think he's shown the ability to be able to do that, guy, so far.
So far, he's seemed pretty even-keeled, though. He's not going to get too high, too low. I mean, you may see a little glimmer of it on the good side. We really haven't seen too much of it on the bad side, whether it be body language or statements made to the media. But also, Trev's got the play to back it up. You look at a guy like Evan Neal, and he's been in the league 2 years. I kind of remember in the 22 draft, before the Jags selected Trayvon Walker, one of the early debates was, is it Walker, is it Hutch, or is it Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu? I mean, Evan Neal almost was in that conversation for number one pick overall. And if you don't think Trayvon Walker has played like a number one pick, Jags fan, Evan Neal definitely hasn't played like a number one pick. Dude has offensive grades in both years, averaging less than 45. Both years. That's pretty pitiful. Pretty pitiful. 4 games this season. Pass blocking in the last game against Dallas, he got a 25-7. I could get that. So Evan Neal may need to focus a little bit more on practice and not worry so much about sheeps and lions.
Yeah, I would say the same. It's just not great. Like, who did this in Jacksonville? I remember it. And Allen Robinson kind of fought back, and he got it from the fans after doing that. Like, I get why you want to say it. Like, it's tough. I think it's a hard thing for those guys. But, you know, you got to grow up fast in the NFL, and you got to have a good feel for that. And I guess that's what I'm getting at. A lot of these guys by now have a feel for what the consequences are of that. And I also understand sometimes that you don't care, but the guys that say they don't care about that stuff are usually the ones apologizing like 3 days later because they got themselves in some kind of mud and can't get themselves out of it. So it's just I just thought it was interesting what's going on in New York right now with several of the players, and it does seem like they're on the younger side of things. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter. Let's get to more Trevor Lawrence in the struggling offense. And Aaron, I thought Trevor went super in depth on a couple of these topics today on the struggling offense.
Yeah, Case, if we can get to cut two, the question continues to be asked to Trevor, really everybody who speaks for the offense on the team. What is the deal? Why the slow start? And so he kind of 30,000-footed it at first like this. Cut two.
Obviously, we're frustrated, but continue to try to find ways to get better and improve on them. I think that's all you can really say. Every week it's different of what the plan is going to be, what teams like to do on third down. I think the most simple answer I can give you is just we need to execute better. That's what we've been saying. But that's still the emphasis. And adjusting to maybe different looks, we need to do a better job, and that's including myself. If we get a different, whether it's a front, a coverage, a pressure, whatever, we got to be able to adjust to those better in game. And I think that's something we're not doing a great job of right now.
I like that Trevor sitting there going, it's not just about the wide receivers, the offensive line, the defense. It's on me too. I got to be out there looking and adjusting as it's happening in a better way, doing more to make the team better. I appreciate that from Trev.
Well, it's a good job by Trevor Lawrence to do that. He is playing better football than most people on offense, but he also still has some stuff out there. And that's what you got to do as the quarterback, got to take the accountability. And listen, this is simple. They know it, too. Like, they know the stuff, and they feel it. They hear it. They're saying it. Like, I think on this, the fans and the Jags offensive players are aligned. They're frustrated, too. Like, yeah. I think there's nobody more surprised that the Jags have scored less than 20 points on the offensive end the last 3 weeks than the guys in the room. And again, I will continue to say this. It's not like their quarterback is playing like some of the other quarterbacks have played around the league to ignite that kind of production. That's not it. They're actually doing some things well, but they are doing some things not well, like third down conversions, short yardage situations, and Aaron also getting off to fast starts on the first possession of the game.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to, right? So everybody, Doug, Trev, everyone's talking about execution. We need to execute better. We need to execute better. Okay. The follow-up here, then what exactly do we need to be executing better? What is the specific part of the game where if you were to flip it like a light switch, we'd be rocking and rolling? It's cut three.
There's different things that go into it, but like I said, execution in critical situations, third down, we all have to be on the same page. We got to execute, we got to communicate, whether that's protections, whether that's certain routes or getting to the right play from my standpoint, or just making the play, making an accurate throw and catching the ball. All those things have hit us at the wrong time on those situations, and I think it all just comes back to starting the game fast and really executing every snap to start the game. Don't wait until you're 2-3 drives in to start doing that. So just emphasizing that.
So here we go again. If that was Justin Fields, maybe he's up there talking about how bad the coaching is. Or if it's Aaron Rodgers, maybe he's talking about young receivers better learn the plays. But here's Trevor Lawrence going, yeah, lots wrong with this football team, but let me tell you how I can make us better.
Yeah, Kasey probably would have thought I'd get punched in the face, but what I brought up today to Trevor, 25 points in the last 23 games on their opening possession of the football game, he audibly was like, oh. I mean, that was his reaction before answering the question. And I asked Doug Peterson the same thing, and they had very similar answers. And you know what? I can't say they're wrong, because the funny thing is, you think they don't know that they've been bad on the first possession of the game. But at the same time, like the way I asked these guys today, it's like, I get you guys are focused on it, but is there a rock that's left unturned here? Like, what do you got to do? Because it really makes no sense that good offensive teams, good offensive minds have only scored 25 points in the last 23 games on the opening possession. I just think that is astonishing. And what both guys said was, it's not just one thing. The problem is, it's like 12 different things have happened in that stretch to eliminate us from getting points on the board. And, we do see that, right? I mean, we saw two things happen in the Houston game on the same drive. One was the Calvin Ridley drop would have been 7 points. You would have been able to make that 32 now. Or McManus misses for him, a shorter field goal, 48 yards, and at least it would have been 3 points. So you would have capitalized on the drive. Instead, they're not doing it. So those are two different things in the same game that happened on the opening possession. And I think Doug said this, and I like what he said about it, and he's been kind of saying this over the last few weeks. We've got to let things come to us. We can't go chase it. Like, you can't take a stat like that and go chase it and press it and want it so bad that you just screw it up. You just got to play, and sooner or later it will come to you. And sooner or later, when it does come to you, you'll score in the next 6 first possessions of the next 6 football games.
Yeah.
And I kind of get what he's saying there. I think he's right. It's just a matter of when is it going to change. Like, I think when the Jags get hot on offense, they're going to roll off a winning streak. I just don't know when the Jags are going to get hot on offense, guys.
Yeah, and it kind of is what happened to him last year, although it wasn't only the offense, but that's what happened after that putrid October. They just rolled off this winning streak, got hot at the right time, headed to the playoffs, and went further than anyone anticipated. The question is, can they get rolling earlier than that? Certainly Doug and crew want that to happen.
Yeah, and can they do it, and will they do it, and maybe have to do it? This is one of those games where all the things that you say kind of adds up to you've got to do it. And what I'm talking about is the starting fast, the dictating play, the controlling the game with your offense, the not getting behind by 2 scores. Kasey, this is the game where those things, if you don't do it, you get exploited and you probably give yourself no chance. Like, I'm not telling you have to check every box, but you better check some of those boxes unless your defense is just going to come up so big and create 4 turnovers and score off one of them and put you point blank on another one that you score off. I mean, you've got to check some of those boxes in a game like this if you want to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're getting turnovers early, Buffalo's a team it'll be over by,
second quarter.
The second quarter. It'll feel a lot like the Rangers and the Rays wild card series this year in 2023.
Still bumming, huh?
That's what it could feel like because Buffalo can score at will, just like the Texas Rangers offense. So you got to force Josh Allen to turn it over, which he can and will. Like, it's not impossible.
4 interceptions this year.
It'll happen. I almost believe that they will guaranteed get a turnover some way, some form in this game. The question is, what can they do with it? What kind of field position will they get off of it? If it's like the interceptions that he threw a couple times in that Jets game where it's like it's basically a punt, like, yeah, it's great, but it's also, whatever. Can you make them come in key moments? Can you make them come early and give your offense a better chance to get out in front?
How many points do the Jags have to score, guys, on Sunday to beat the Buffalo Bills?
Here's the thing. If it's a shootout, if you've got to race the Buffalo Bills on offense, that number's got to be really high. That's like a 45.
Yep.
The defense has to come and put some work in, man. The defense has to hold this team under 20.
I know I've said this before against...
Wait a minute. Stop the car. 45. I mean, Miami's defense hasn't been great to begin with.
True.
And they gave up 48. I get it. But, this defense has been way better. I don't think the Bills are putting up 45 on this defense.
Yeah, no, you hope not. Sure.
But
I'm just saying, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Bills can go in and put up 45 on any team's defense. I'm saying if the game is offense versus offense, these guys just going up and down the field, you're not winning that game 27-23.
No, I get that. Sorry, Kasey, I interrupted you. Where were you going?
No, that's okay, Brent. I was just going to say, I remember a couple years ago saying that they probably couldn't win without, who knows, 30-something points, and then they ended up winning with 9. But I do not think that will be the case this year. I think if you don't have 30, you've got no shot.
Here's the deal. Whatever we all say, right? Whatever we all agree on, group think, because the NFL is so screwed up, man. It's like nobody thought the Jags would hold the Chiefs to 17 points 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it is. And they did, and they lost. If I told you that they were holding them to 17 points, you would have bet your house that the Jags would win. And they lost, holding them to 17 points. So, yeah, I could see a 34-31 game. I could also see the Jags really using the run game more to neutralize possessions and also take advantage of what looks to be the weakest part of the Buffalo defense and compile these 12-play drives, 11-play drives, maybe a 14-play drive, some of those drives that we saw last year. And actually we saw at the end of the game against Atlanta, I think it was a 13-play drive that chewed up 7 minutes. Like, we had one of those drives, just ended with a field goal instead of a touchdown. So maybe it is a little bit more low-scoring because they limit the possessions in that respect. But as I say that, I'm like, what is going to happen in this football game that we are just not thinking of? Because that certainly seems to be the trend in all of the NFL, and especially with the Jags so far this year.
Well, one thing we're not talking about, even though we're talking about turnovers, is specifically fumbles. And I just checked on the Bills just to see if maybe they were as hazardous with the football as they are with throwing the football. And no, actually, they're second to the bottom in fumbles lost this season or fumbles had. But do you know who's in second place, guys? The Jacksonville Jaguars have fumbled the ball 9 times. So protecting the football will be paramount against this Buffalo Bills defense for sure.
The Jags have fumbled 9 times this year?
That's what it says. They lost 3 of them.
Hey, who says that?
StatMuse.
Not PFF?
No.
Huh.
You know, I have other websites here that I could look at.
I'm trying to think of the 9. All right, well,
the snaps. There's been a couple of bad snaps.
Evan Ingram fumbled, got it back. Cisco fumbled. That counts. Got it back with a Lewican. Agnew fumbled twice and lost, so there's that. Bigsby fumbled, right?
He did.
No.
First game, didn't he?
Big fumble?
I thought.
No, that was the preseason game.
Okay.
Right? Oh, no. Actually, no, you're right. That would have been ruled as a fumble on Bigsby, the goofy play against Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, so those are the 3 lost fumbles we just found. Agnew twice and Bigsby.
Yeah.
And then I just did 2 more. I'm trying to figure out what am I missing?
Now, currently, the Browns lead the league with 10 fumbles. You got the Jags with 9, the Giants at 8, tied with the Vikings, Dolphins, and Ravens. By the way, 8 of the Ravens fumbles, 6 of them Lamar Jackson.
They have at least 2 muff snaps, the Jags do.
They do?
Yep. They got him back. Trevor fell on him. One was, I think, over his head that he had to run down, and one never made it off the ground.
How do you throw over Trevor's head? That's a long snap.
That is a long snap. Listen, it goes without saying. The Jags have to take care of the football on Sunday, and maybe have to steal a possession too. I will say this: if the Jags can operate their offense to the level we think, and they haven't found it yet, so maybe we've got to stop thinking that way. I'm not there yet. I do think they are going to come out of this. They can go toe-to-toe with this Bills team. Like, they don't need to do – I just don't think they're like that much of a lesser team than the Bills where they need to, like, onside kick, fake punt, do those kind of things that you need to steal a possession. Last year, the Jags had to do that kind of stuff against elite teams. If the Jags execute kind of what they want to execute, they don't need to do that. Now, if you're sitting there with 17 points and your third down conversions 3 for 10, well, you might need to do something like that to spark the team. But I don't think they have to play that card even against the high-powered offense like the Buffalo Bills. I guess we never did answer the question, like how many points do they have to score to beat the Bills? I'm kind of thinking it's got to be 31. I don't think it's got to be 45, but I do think it's got to be
35.
35? Okay, that's fair. I think if the Jags hold this team under 30, they've done their job on defense.
That doesn't even sound like it would be hard, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Like, that doesn't sound that impressive.
It feels like they are the Chiefs. Right now, they're the Chiefs. Like, if you're playing Miami and Buffalo, they're in San Francisco, those are the Chiefs of, like, the last few years, where they just go up and down the field and score.
Yeah.
And so if you can hold them to under 30, Doug probably is like, hey, we should be able to score 30 points. We'll see if the Jaguars can do it. They did against Indy, but that was with a big help from their defense. Football at 5 rolls on. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Live from London, our coverage brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690. Partly cloudy and breezy with a few scattered showers at times tonight through tomorrow. Overnight low temperatures in the 60s to low 70s. Your Thursday high will reach the mid-80s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying bout circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville, October 27th, valorbk.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Hey, this is Brian Middleton, and I'm here with Mike, a fellow Awaken 180 weight loss client. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about your story?
I was on a trend where I was about to go over 250 pounds. My cholesterol was getting higher. Since I've gone on the Awaken 180 plan, by the way, I've lost about 50 points on my cholesterol. So I went in for my blood panel within about 60 days of starting the program, and it dropped about 50 points through my doctor. So he went on the plan. My own doctor, as a cardiologist, went on the plan because he was so impressed. He knew what my stomach looked like. He knew my build. I came in and he just was astounded by the blood panel results. If I hadn't found Awaken 180, I probably would be on cholesterol medicine higher blood pressure medicine. It was just a life of medication in front of me, and I didn't want that.
Well, Mike, his doctor, and I all took control of our health thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Become your own success story and call 844-346-1800 or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
I'm looking at a tweet that says NFL sack leaders. Khalil Mack had 6 the other day. TJ Watt, that's a good name up the top. Josh Allen,
Look at
all
that.
tied with 6. Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, Matthew Judon, Dennis Gardeck from the Cardinals. Who?
That's what Dennis's uncle
And
said.
Micah Parsons. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good list to be on, is it? And Judon just get hurt?
Torn
I think, for the
biceps.
Patriots?
Yeah, he just had surgery.
That's oof. I'll tell you what, though, he was a heck of a signing for the Patriots. I mean, he was a monster for them. But man, that's good. That's good company. And I'll tell you the other thing. I think he's got 5 tackles for loss and 15 pressures. So now you can support those sack numbers with those, and it's a good start for Josh Allen, which is great to see. And again, he had that monster game. It would be really nice. Can you imagine if Josh Allen, the Jags Josh Allen, has another monster game over this Josh Allen? Well, that's it. Like, end the book. You don't play the Bills that much. Our Josh Allen wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, if he can have another monster game, he wins. Hey, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of London right now. And so, like, I go to ESPN.com, right? So automatically it comes up as ESPN.com.uk.
Oh.
So every time I open it, it's like really weird because
Cricket and soccer and
I got
golf.
soccer scores across the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the top headlines, it's pretty wild. The top headlines, here's what they are. 2030 World Cup to be played on 3 continents.
Yep.
Sources, Pats reacquire cornerback Jackson from Bolts. So they got an NFL headline in there. UK, Ireland, sole bidder to host Euro 28.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes, Chiefs passing game problems on me. Chelsea's James suspended for abusing official.
What?
Wrexham's Mullen one step from Wales debut. Stokes doubtful for CWC opener
I bet
against
the next is about a
NZ.
tennis player.
I don't even know what any of that means. That might as well be like a technology headline. Tennis player apologizes for hitting ump with ball. So it's just like so bizarre. And, it kind of has like cricket, MMA, F1, NBA, NFL, and football, meaning soccer, is across the top of my headlines. I got to dig deep if I want an MLB score, if I want college football. I got to go golf. I mean, I just got to go to that arrow down, It's weird.
Yeah, also
That's the
weird
world I'm living in right
on the
now.
left rail with all the topics, Premier League, Champions League, and then you get to the NBA and then the NFL. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, so it's kind of bizarre. It's just it is a big deal over here. In fact, I think, Kasey, you'll know this. Like, does Manchester City play Arsenal this weekend? I think
they do.
That's
Is that
what
the Blues versus the Reds?
reporter told us. Yeah.
No.
So,
not
well,
right.
basically, that's like a huge matchup, right? Is
Cool.
it Manchester City or Manchester United that's playing? Let me check. I got it. Don't worry, guys.
Okay,
I got it on my front page. I can find
You
this
just look on your
easily, okay?
ESPN. The cool thing about ESPN.co.uk is that it almost looks like it's a visual cover song because it looks exactly like the ESPN website, as you would expect. It's an ESPN website.
What are we trying to accomplish here?
It's just weird. It's like reading a different language, Case.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a little insight, trying to take
No, here's
Here's
what happened. Here's what has happened here. Brent, you're missing it. Aaron has pulled up the ESPN UK website and is now reading it back to you to try to get the moment of, how did you know that?
That's
but
not
you're
true.
not giving him the moment, Brent.
No,
It's
that's not true.
It's
I'm
10
not biting.
miles over your head.
No,
you have
don't
no
bite.
idea.
No.
Aaron's disappointed.
Not true.
It's a mess.
No. Here's Kasey, mad at the Rays, and Brent, me and you are bonding over ESPN.co.uk. I don't understand the problem.
So anyway.
I think you're right, Aaron.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Casey's
go
just
play
mad.
darts, Kasey.
Yeah, go play darts.
So now I'm fat, huh? Raise wasn't enough. I got to get called fat again for the second. It's amazing that I show up to work here.
Thanks, bud.
Arsenal and Manchester City play on Sunday. And so they brought up a good point. Like, that's a monster matchup in the world of soccer over here. And it's on the day that the NFL is over here. So I jokingly said to the reporter who brought that up, I'm like, oh, the stadium's going to be half full at Tottenham. Like, everybody's going to be headed to the soccer and watching it. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, basically the Jags kick at 2:30 local time. That match is at 4:30.
Perfect. Plenty of time.
We were asking if this reporter was going to go there and go to the Tottenham game. They're like, no, I got to go cover this. Obviously it's a big deal. So I thought that was kind of interesting that the NFL is here. And you don't even think about it from our vantage point that, oh, wow, that's like a massive soccer game.
Yeah.
Huge
match.
Now, you're lucky it's not the end of the month where Manchester United is playing Man City.
Nobody cares.
What
United
about
sucks.
March 2nd, 2024, where they play again, Kasey, at 10 a.m.?
Still nobody
Thoughts,
cares.
comments?
City will have already won the
How
league.
do you know this, Aaron?
I'm just that good
There
at
you go.
soccer.
Nice.
I know all the soccer stuff.
Nice. We had that good little payoff moment. This is great.
Hey, take us to tweets, will you?
Sure.
Or X's or whatever they are. Do they
Casey's
have
so
those
annoyed.
in the United States form or
Yeah.
UK form?
This is the UK form. No, Casey's so annoyed, so I'm
We're
going
doing all English Premier League tweets.
Casey's annoyed, so I'm going to try and cheer him up right here with some content. Let's go to PFF for the next tweet.
Oh, Mike.
This is actually from our guy, Clay Harbor, guys. A friend of the show.
Hi, Clay.
Clay's working at PFF?
Oh, he used some of their content.
I'm a big fan of stealing. So
But here's the deal. Here's what Clay Harbor put out there, this PFF tweet. It's the highest graded quarterbacks on the season. So all the people with the Trev hate going, all right, we were talking MVP and he's not playing like one. Here are your highest graded quarterbacks in the NFL as of right now. You got Tua, 88.3. Trev, 84.9. Jared Goff, 83.7. Patrick Mahomes, 82.9. And some dude named Josh Allen, 81.5. I guess my question to you guys, out of those five quarterbacks, Tua, Trev, Goff, Mahomes, and Josh Allen, which two won't be in the same conversation at the end of this season? Tua, Trev, Jared, Mahomes, or Josh Allen? Who are the two that drop out of this conversation? Or will they?
Wow. You're really putting us on the spot there. I mean,
I'll go first if you guys want to think about it.
Patrick Mahomes.
Because I think Tua is dropping out, whether it's, through injury. He hasn't really been able to stay on the field the last year or two, or whether it's his wide receivers injuries. Obviously, Waddle has been hurt. Now he's back. We'll see how that progresses throughout the season. I just think he's too hot right now, too hot to handle. And that's got to come back down to earth a little bit. I also think Jared Goff, who started the year off with that interception or non-interception streak and then eventually broke it, is having a fun time with the Lions right now, but they're about to get Jameson Williams back. And while that should be a plus for the Lions, Brent, we have seen it where that happens and it just disrupts the whole chemistry of the offense. And if they're getting a guy who they expected to be a number one receiver that they drafted in the top 11, top 12 picks of last year's draft, you kind of get the feeling they're going to want to force feed the guy.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they need to force feed him because he hasn't impressed that much already. Even in camp and talk when we were in Detroit, they weren't like overly impressed with Jameson Williams. Like, whoa, wait until you get him back in the lineup. They were actually like, when's he going to kind of turn it on a little bit? It felt more like that temperature. So that might make it easier for them to kind of just slowly put him back into the fold. But listen, the dude can fly. He's a talented guy, and just adding to an offense that's already going. So I get what you're saying, and we'll see if it is that way. I mean, the Lions have been good. They've been good for a while now. This offense has been good for a while. I can't sit here and just deny that. I thought it was going to go away. It hasn't gone away. They figured out what works with Jared Goff, and they figured it out very well. I think they're coaching it right. I think he's playing well. They have enough weapons, and I just don't see it changing. Plus, their schedule's pretty negotiable. The thing that I like about Trevor, and I'm not answering your question because I think the obvious answers right now, honestly, would be Trevor and Goff, because I just don't know how you take Allen, Mahomes, and Tua out of the fold. Like, Tua isn't going to slow down, guys. I mean, he's got an electric offense. He might not be as great, but he's not going to slow down. I think the thing that Trevor has going for him is this offense just hasn't played well yet. So once they get going, his numbers will start to pile up, and he can actually steal momentum in the middle of the season to be mentioned in the conversation. We're mentioning guys like Tua and Josh Allen, and we usually mention Mahomes in. So, and nobody's running away with anything. Like, Jalen Hurts has been off to a modest start. Kirk Cousins has 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but nobody's ever going to give him the credit that he probably should get, and they're losing, so that's that. 9 touchdowns for Josh Allen. Russell Wilson. Hey, Russell Wilson's 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they feel like they're still not any good.
They're not.
So the stats can lie a little bit, and I think in some cases they do. I think Trevor hasn't got off to a bad start, which is good. And when they do get cooking, he's going to have a chance to climb up the boards of everybody's popularity list.
Let's go to Ari Miriam for our next post on X. This is a pretty wild, it's not necessarily a stat as much as it's a fun fact out of the AFC West. But it's pretty wild. The AFC West made a big push last offseason to add defense, slowing down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Raiders added Chandler Jones, 3 years, $51 million. The Chargers added J.C. Jackson, 5 years, $82.5 million. Broncos added Randy Gregory, 5 years, $70 million. All 3 of these guys were cut this week. The Chiefs just keep on laughing their way down to the playoffs and ultimately possibly the Super Bowl. This is a new era of the NFL, guys. Have we ever seen teams spend such big money in free agency only to walk away from these players so quickly?
I think it's crazy that they're cutting ties with those guys so fast. I mean, gosh, that's nuts. They have to give away, I think, like $14 million last year to Gregory and $14 million this year, and they're not even going to get anything out of him.
Yeah, I think he banked 25.7 on the Broncos.
Jeez.
Like $1 million per pressure.
Bad move.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, that's nuts. Like, that did feel like a lot of money when he got signed. He had kind of a bit of resurgence in Dallas, obviously on a pretty good defense and a star-studded defense, but yeah, that's a lot of money. Like, I'm looking at what the Jags have done with their free agency, and there's nobody. We talked a lot about free agency yesterday and how these guys are playing. I mean, is there anybody that even comes up close to that? Like,
Shaq,
I get
maybe.
Sheriff hasn't lived up to the dollars. Yeah, Shaq. But didn't Shaq play well the year prior? I think Shaq played okay the year prior to last year. But, yeah, that's probably the closest one where they unloaded. And I think they had signed him to like a 3-year deal,
it was
not like
a 3-year.
5-year deal.
We're talking about this current Jags?
Yeah.
To find the free agent thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not trying to just go way back. I'm just saying.
I got about
because
15
Aaron's asking
for you.
I could think of something.
Yeah, Aaron's asking in the context of right now.
Yeah,
like, why
modern
are we seeing
NFL.
big deals and then see you later. And I guess just teams are willing to move on and bite the bullet. And here's the other thing about at least in the Denver situation, it's a new regime. So like, he can be like, that's not my guy. See you later.
Yeah, and that actually leads us to our next post on X. This is from Benjamin Albright. Per multiple sources, apparently Randy Gregory did not ask for a trade prior to being cut. It was initiated from the Broncos side. The Broncos actually sought out a trade. None materialized, so they released him. This was Sean Payton sending a message, says Benjamin Albright. I guess my question to you guys is Payton sending the message to the team, or is he sending it to the other high-priced free agent that has been the talk of possible cuts in his quarterback, Russell Wilson? Who is the message being sent to?
Yeah, I think the team, or maybe also in a little bit like might even be management more than Russell Wilson. Like, hey, give me good players.
I think management thought they were doing that when they spent $70 million on Gregory.
Yeah, I don't see this as much of a message to Russell Wilson though. And again, Russell's not playing like terrible football.
No, not at all.
It's
But he
not
keeps
like
getting
was
called
playing
out by
last year.
Sean Payton though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as a marriage in the long term if they could get out from under it. I don't think that, but again, he's not playing terrible football. He's not the reason they're losing. Is he doing enough? Probably not for making $200 and whatever $1 million he's making.
Yeah. Next one comes from ML Football. Apparently the Carolina Panthers trying to work on those phones right now. They've inquired about the availability of Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Marquise Brown. Hollywood Brown apparently getting some calls made on his behalf. That's per an NFL front office source. Carolina's been inquiring around the league about receivers in general. They've shown a strong interest in the Speedy Brown, who's a former first-round selection. 2 questions here. Number one, is Arizona still in the tanking game? Because they messed around, threw out almost everybody on that team worth a damn, and then almost started winning some games. And then number 2, what is Carolina doing throwing money at more receivers? Case, does this make any sense to you?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, Casey. Cool.
No, dude, no, it does not make any sense at all.
Yeah, it's not like Carolina's primed here for playoffs this year, Brent.
No, but I think they're trying to make sure the kid gets as much around him as possible and off to a good start in his career. He's already missed a game in the first month of his career. There's been questions about their offense, about him. Is he the right guy? And so the more you can put around him sooner, I think the less maybe scar tissue that he gets. And I actually like the play by Carolina to help him early in his career. Again, I think that's a big part of this, guys. I think C.J. Stroud's off to a good start. I think Anthony Richardson's kind of off to a pretty good start because he's had some early successes. It's the guys that have zero success early on that you get super concerned about. Are they bad? Are they ever going to recover from what they just faced? Are the things around them not good enough? Is the situation poor? Like, which one really is it? Well, if Carolina can put more around Bryce Young, well, they can eliminate the question of we don't have anything around him. I thought they did some decent things to put at least stuff around him, but it wasn't dynamic, and we knew that in the offseason when they did this. Like, the moves they made were not dynamic enough to make them dangerous. But it's not like he's working with nothing. Didn't we think Bryce Young was working with more than C.J. Stroud was working with?
Yes, because he had Adam Thielen and Miles Sanders, but there was questions of whether Thielen still had any left in the tank. Chark obviously is out there. I mean, on paper, the Panthers looked like they were set up to succeed before the Texans, but clearly Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, that is a different kind of connection than what's going on in Carolina.
I didn't think that, but it's fine. No worries. Casey called the Texans. It's all good. Scoreboard.
Did you think the Texans were going to be better than the Panthers?
Yes.
Okay. I remember you said they'd be
I
better
thought
than
they
the
were
Colts.
finishing second in the division.
In the South. It's not saying much.
I thought the Panthers were finishing fourth in their division.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's put a bow on the show. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. Up next, we've got Major League Baseball tonight as well on ESPN 690. So it's a busy night on a Wednesday on ESPN 690. Brent and Friends comes back right after this.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. HammondAir.com.
We're in the middle of it now, the fall season, as we hit October on the campus of the University of North Florida. Swoop with the Ospreys, soccer, cross-country, volleyball, golf, swimming programs, all in mid-season form. Plenty of events to attend, something for everyone on the campus of UNF. And coming soon, it's men's and women's basketball. The schedule is out, plenty of home games to attend. Bring the family. Season tickets are for sale. Get news, schedules, results, and tickets at UNFOspreys.com. And swoop for the Ospreys all season.
Hurt on the job? It's your employer's responsibility to keep you safe. If you've been injured on a work site or anywhere on a job, you can have a case. Morgan & Morgan makes starting a claim easy, and it's free. You only pay if you win your case. That's lunch.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying bout circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville, October 27th, valorbk.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Hundreds of thousands of knee replacements and hip replacements are performed each year in the United States, and those numbers are on the rise, but some of these surgeries are preventable. Exercise and health lifestyles have a direct effect on muscle strength, joint flexibility, and bone density. Maintaining a healthy body weight can lessen the effects of osteoarthritis and prevent injuries. Hip pain is a common problem and can cause discomfort and difficulty in walking, sitting, and daily life like working and playing sports. If you are experiencing hip pain, the hip orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treatment of your hip pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or learn more at JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Put a bow on the showtime here from London all the way back to Jacksonville. Our London coverage presented by Bold City Heating and Air. Check them out at boldcityac.com. And This month, the purchase of a new AC unit, get a free duct cleaning as well. Tell them Brent and ESPN 690 sent you BoldCityAC.com. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Overtime coming up. Major League Baseball at 7 o'clock after that. And did you see the new rule, guys, where the NCAA is saying that there will be more like photo shoots on unofficial visits for recruits?
Interesting. I did not see that. I saw the transfer portal shrunk. I didn't see the photo shoot rule.
What did they say about the portal? I didn't see that one.
They want to take the portal from 60 to 45 days, like it's going to make a huge difference, as if these transfers aren't negotiated outside the windows anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't mind that, though. I do think at least it will make people make decisions faster or limit in some capacity. There's way too many people in the portal, so something has to be done. I guess I can't kill them for trying. It's just interesting. I guess if you have an official visit, you can still do the picture thing.
Yeah.
But what was happening around, like, on the recruiting trail is basically all these guys are taking pictures, and it's usually the top schools that have somebody hired to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a thing for these recruits.
It's like social media
not everybody
content.
can afford that person to do it. Yeah, and so in a way it's kind of goofy, but I also understand, like, you're separating the haves and have-nots from being able to do stuff like that. And so I guess the rule is going to be unofficial visitors on the recruiting trail, no more picture taking.
So does that
what
mean
a weird
that
thing to put into writing, isn't it?
Does that mean Deion Sanders can't do the TV show and cameras anymore for these guys too? Because like that's even more so than just the silly photo sessions.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he was doing, and I don't know if it was with incoming recruits or unsigned. I'm assuming he couldn't do anything with recruits that hadn't been committed or signed. Like, you're not allowed to do anything, what coach and player, until they're signed. So I can't imagine this would, like, impact a lot of that. But, the NCAA game is continuously changing. Hey, we're back at it from London. We'll be at the Pavilion and Pub tomorrow. That is our hope. Come on out, say hello. We'll be there with All Access at 7:30, taping that show that you can watch on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock on Thursday night Eastern Time. And then we're going to have Brent Friends out on that at the Pavilion and Pub, if everything works. We hope. I don't know what Aaron Schachter's doing, but he's already made Sundays and had Leonard Skinner in this week, so not sure what's left to do. Meanwhile, everybody send flowers to Kasey Kuhrts because the Rays are out and he is mad. And he's got an hour to vent about it on Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up next. Have a good night, everybody.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Winter is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had zero losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
Hey, poker fans, you're in for a treat this October at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, this is no time to be on the sidelines. Highlights include the $400 GoPo 400 with $40,000 guarantee at Best Bet Orange Park, the $100,000 guarantee St. Augustine Championship, and the return of the World Poker Tour $1 million guarantee at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
What's up? It's Casey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcast.
I'm Christine Lisi. After an incredible start to the baseball season, it is all over for the Rays. Nate Eovaldi, 1 run, 6 hits, 8 Ks and 6. Corey Seager, 2 hits. He drove in a run, scored another. Texas beat Tampa Bay in Game 2 of their wild card series. 7-1 the final. They completed the sweep. Rangers will face the Orioles in the ALDS. Meantime, the Blue Jays facing elimination. Game 2 of their AL wildcard series do trail the Twins 2-0 in the top of the 5th. James Harden participated in practice with his 76ers teammates today. He missed media day and the first training camp practice as he continues to push for a trade to the Clippers. Harden might be in Philly for a while, explains ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Both the Sixers and the Clippers, their need for James Harden isn't necessarily over 82 games. It's to have him ready to go for the playoffs. Certainly, he helps you get through the regular season. He helps you get a better seed. But this is not a trade that has to happen in the short term.
Our Adrian Wojnarowski on NBA Today.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Thursday, I'll give you my biggest takeaways from the second day of the baseball playoffs. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Jackie Robinson may have broken the color barrier, but he wasn't the first black baseball star. The players who came before him, including my grandpa, Norman Turkey Stearns, competed in a segregated league.
They were denied their rightful place in history.
We're going to uncover the stories of the Negro Leagues and the baseball greats you've never heard of. Reclaimed, the Forgotten League. Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you been? Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. ESPN 690. A lot of fun being had in the ESPN 690 studios from Brian Middleton, from Aaron Schachter.
Oh, man.
And now I'm here. On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Good show planned for you.
Yeah.
Mostly because of Brian Middleton. We've got the OT first quarter NFL superlatives. We have a thought on the Rays.
Oh, boy.
That's coming up in just a bit.
Oh, no, that's more like that.
Yeah, that's not good. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. Then the rest of baseball will play. I don't care anymore. Hockey's coming back.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's random.
It kind of is.
Happens every year around this time. I get it, but yeah.
So hockey's coming back. That's the only thing I have to look forward to now because baseball's over. And that's where we are on a Wednesday. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts. Bad day. Bad day, Brian. We'll get into it next segment. Got to hold myself together for this segment as we do the first quarter superlatives. The NFL went and goofed around and made the games an uneven number. So, I mean, we're doing the first quarter superlatives, but one of these areas will get an extra game, but it will not be the first quarter because we are one quarter in to the NFL season. There's a tiny spider on the desk. So that's not a good thing because that means there's an adult spider somewhere that we're going to have to find at some point in time. Better than when there were snakes in the building, though, which unconfirmed if the snakes are still here or not, but we'll continue on and just pretend like they're not here. And we will go to the superlatives. Brian, where would you like to start?
We'll start at the top of the list. Let's start with Mr. NFL, Kasey Kuhrts.
So
go ahead.
Thank you. I didn't even know if I was going to go first, but I just started talking, so I'm appreciative of you letting me go first. Brian, I'm a visionary. It's never good to start with that when you're talking about Mr. NFL. But the qualification for the award, the single most impressive player after the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, I don't know how it could be anybody else other than Houston Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud. The number 2 pick in the draft going to a franchise that's been nothing short of awful for a while. Deshaun Watson was okay for a couple of years. They had J.J. Watt. But it has been bad. And we thought, well, I shouldn't say we. I thought they were a second-place team in the AFC South. Nobody else did. We were talking about could they end up with that number 1 pick and give it to Arizona, this and that, whatever. And then C.J. Stroud comes out and says, don't worry, folks. I'm not going to turn over the football. Yeah, it's going to be ugly for the first 2 weeks. I'm going to get sacked 11 times in 2 weeks or 10 times in 2 weeks of football. But I'm not going to turn it over. I'm going to average 300 a game in the air, 6 touchdowns, completing 62-ish%. It's not great, but 1,212 yards passing in 4 games with those 6 touchdowns. Little bit on the ground, not a ton. I'm impressed, Brian. You look at Bryce Young, he's already missed time, and he has not been impressive when he has played. Will Levis still on the bench. Anthony Richardson has missed time, has been impressive, but out of the rookies, C.J. Stroud has been the most impressive quarterback. He's doing it in Houston, where nobody but me thought it could happen. I'm just saying. And there's been a lot of impressive things happening in the NFL, don't get me wrong, but the rookie quarterback doing it in Houston 2 weeks in, or 4 weeks in, but 2-2 record, I am very, very, very impressed with C.J. Stroud.
Mr. NFL, though. Okay.
Mr. NFL, C.J. Stroud. That's basically what they're saying.
Listen, all right. That was a fine case for 4-year defense, but just a reckless choice. Just a reckless choice.
Yeah, that's what they'd be saying.
This is what you got to do, man. You got to take sometimes the simplest answer. Mr. NFL is like the Heisman. Not necessarily the best player. It's usually the best quarterback on one of the best teams. And that's why Mr. NFL, despite the hiccup, the pothole that happened in week 4, is Tua Tagovailoa. I chop up his last name. That's the closest I've gotten in 2 years.
Not bad.
Okay? Listen, 3-1 record. First and foremost, his brain has stayed in place. Yeah. No concussions.
True.
He's averaging 327 yards passing per game. He has a 300-yard game, has a 466-yard game. They put up 70. Granted, that's a lot of different contributions, happening. It wasn't just all Tua, but he's the leader of that offense. He's that leader of that high, dynamic, high-flying offense. They're 3-1, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. One of them wasn't his fault, but it goes in his stat book. And when you're leading the league in passing yards on top of everything else, in the first quarter, do I think there are other quarterbacks who are better than Tua? Yes. Will Tua be like my offensive player of the year? Believe it or not, for the first quarter, no. We'll get to that soon enough. But for Mr. NFL, the quarterback leading this kind of offense, this kind of fun, minus the Buffalo Bills defense being on the other side, it's got to be Tua and nobody else. Not a rookie, for sure, who's been 4 games in the NFL. All of a sudden, he's Mr. NFL.
Yeah, he
it's
is.
Tua, Taga, Viola.
Yeah.
I can't get that third and fourth syllable. That second and third syllable, it's tough for me. But you know what I'm trying to say. I got Tua as my Mr. NFL, Kasey Kuhrts. Next award, the Mama There Goes That Man Award. Shout out to Mark Jackson. You know Mark Jackson, he says, hand down, man down, Mama There Goes That Man when someone's just playing off their mind. Okay, yeah.
I'm familiar.
All right, I'm just saying.
And this is an offensive player award, the best offensive player, if you will. Shout out to Mark Jackson for the naming. This one's not close, in my opinion. He's 100 yards clear of the next closest challenger. He just can't stop scoring touchdowns, more rush yards per game than anybody, more first downs obtained so far this season. It is Christian McCaffrey for the San Francisco 49ers. And again, it is unquestioned. He's 100 yards clear of anybody. The second leading rusher in the league will get an award later in the show. But outside of those two, it's not close to anybody. He's 150 yards clear of the next closest competitor. And again, it's touchdowns nearly every time he touches it. He's got 7 already, which is insane in 4 games. He's making Brock Purdy's job easy. 6 a carry every time he gets it. So just hand it to him, and you're going to continue to move your offense down the field. He's healthy. He's electric. And I don't really think there's any questions to be had about Christian McCaffrey being the offensive player of the year right now.
Okay. Well, I gave you the ringer because I appreciate that. Thought about CMC. I mean, literally, he almost was what I wrote down on here just to jot the notes down. But I'm going to stay in the San Francisco backfield. And right now, I got to give this award to Brock Purdy. You say CMC helps out Brock Purdy. I say it's reciprocation. They help out each other. Listen to this, man. Of course, he's top 10 in passing yards easily, but you don't hear about that because Christian McCaffrey, flashier. It is a bit more dynamic. It looks prettier what Christian McCaffrey is doing versus what Brock Purdy is doing. But also this, Kasey, he leads the league in QBR. He leads the league in passer rating. We've talked about it yesterday. No interceptions in 4 games. Number 1 in my power rankings, and most people who watch, football with the TV on, power rankings as well, not just some highlights. Brock Purdy is the driver of this engine. I will say I think CMC is the biggest component of the engine that makes it go, if that makes sense. So, I'm not mad at CMC, but I think Brock Purdy, the numbers he's putting up and what he is doing and what he's not doing in order to help the team win, in correlation with when you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey in your backfield, it's cool. I think that he could get this award, but the masses probably would go with you, and I don't think I'd be mad with that, Kasey. Next award, the Treading Water Award.
Oh boy, they ain't gonna like this one, Brian.
Did the Jags get on the list?
I have written down on my paper here the team. This goes to the team who's holding it together record-wise, but if they keep playing the way they are currently, they are done for. And in my handwriting, it says Jags. The Jacksonville Jaguars. It will not cut it against Buffalo. If they try this 2017, 23-point showing, they will get boat raced by the Buffalo Bills, I believe. I think it would take an unbelievable effort to hold them, to be honest with you, under 30 points, but under 28 at a bare minimum. And as of now, we have no evidence that the Jags can score that unless they get a couple on defense and maybe a punt return from Jamal Agnew if he is healthy. Looking the rest of the schedule, Colts, Saints, Steelers, 49ers. It doesn't sound incredibly difficult, but what it does sound like is defense. The Steelers, they don't score on offense, but they play a little defense, especially at home. The Saints play a little bit of defense. San Francisco, they do both at a high level. So they will not be able, I don't think, to keep getting away with this not great offensive performances that they've put together in really 3 of, or you could really say 4 of the 4 weeks so far. And then as you look farther down that schedule, you've got a Baltimore team on what is supposed to be Monday night. We'll see. You've got a Cleveland Brown team that you'll have to go to Cleveland where they play some defense. The Bengals, who knows that they'll be better by then. And you still got Tennessee twice. And Tampa might be good. So they're not going to get away with not scoring points. They got to figure it out sooner rather than later, or they might be in some trouble, Brian.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Not a bad pick. Again, another one that was in my final cut for this. But I went to the NFC, and I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. 2-2. Only a game behind Tampa Bay. You know, it's still early in the season. Kasey, we thought they had the best quarterback. I thought they had the best quarterback. I don't want to speak for you or the masses. I thought they had the best quarterback in the division, and it wasn't even close.
I agree with that.
No, Baker Mayfield is right now. I look at their games. Let's see. We got the games pulled up right here. They beat the Saints 16-15. They beat the Panthers 20-17. They lost to the Packers 18-17, and then the Bucs, ran them out the building, ran them out their own building. They said, "Hey, man, listen, this is our new home away from home." It doesn't seem like it would make sense, especially offensively. I know we both thought that defensively, this schedule set up and this season set up for them to really show up and show out. Didn't seem like it was going to be a bunch of tough games there. And the defense has, some talent, especially in the secondary. They have a bunch of guys who are near top of the list, if not at the top of the list with like passes, defense, things of that nature. But boy, offensively, it ain't clicking. It ain't clicking from the quarterback. I mean, the second year of Chris Olave, you expect that to really be blowing up. Michael Thomas, kind of back, I guess. I know the Alvin Kamara thing that hasn't helped out, the offense, but that should help out as he's getting more integrated into that offense. But overall, Kasey, I look at him and it should be, if I was a New Orleans Saints fan, I'd be looking at Dennis Allen and those guys there and be like, this is very warm soda. Like before I know it's warm, I think it's going to quench my thirst.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to be great. Then I take a sip and I'm thirstier.
That's
pretty
good.
I'm like, you're not trash. You're not good. You're not good. You're not trash. This feels very sneak into the playoffs as a wild card and lose. Probably badly. And it's like, what did you play the season for? What did we get Derek Carr for?
I'd be wondering that same question today. What did we play the season for? But that's a different conversation.
And you pulled up schedules. That's a good thing right here. Saints, they're going to the Patriots. Patriots are due to beat somebody's head in.
Or they're not. Maybe they're not, by the way.
You don't think the Pats are with the changing of quarterback? I think that they are. I think at some point the Patriots are going to get one on somebody. And then, the Jags, they go out there.
On a Thursday night.
Yeah, that might be a toss-up. Colts, Bears, Vikings. These are all games. If I was a Saints fan, I'd be like,
easiest schedule in the league the Saints have. Or preseason they did.
But they 1 point winners or losers unless they play a team like Tampa Bay who's kind of got it together. NFC South, this is supposed to be the weak division, and it's just they're not taking advantage of it. So, Kasey, I got New Orleans, but I'm not mad at the Jags either. Next up, got that dog in them.
Yeah, I like this one. Going to the player that is absolutely balled out regardless of position or the amount of playing time on the field. And I took that little explainer there and really went with this answer. And I am going with the guy who in week 1 had a stat line of 1 carry for 3 yards.
Okay.
He has then put up, since then in 3 weeks, 400 total yards, rushing and receiving, and a couple of touchdowns. That is DeAndre Swift of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
The Lions left him for dead. They acquired David Montgomery. They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's like, what has happened to DeAndre Swift? Then it was a draft day Johnny Manziel situation. It wasn't really Johnny Manziel. It's just a Drake song. Look it up if you've never heard it. And he ends up in Philadelphia with the rest of the Georgia Bulldogs. And in week 1, what was happening? I don't know. They didn't give him the ball. They didn't even let him play. Kenneth Gainwell's out there, and it made no sense because DeAndre Swift coming out of Georgia was a first-round talent. He was a second-round pick by the Lions, had never really been given the football at a high clip. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. They decided to give it to him, and he popped for 175 on 28 carries and a touchdown. Then he gives you 130 yards the next week on 16 carries against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then another 60-yard touchdown performance, 80 yards if you count in the receiving, last week against the Washington Commanders. So he has not played a ton because the first week they didn't even let him play, and all of a sudden he's second in the league in rushing yards, scoring touchdowns, making that offense that much better in Philadelphia. I don't understand why it took 3 years and 2 teams to figure out that if you give them the football, good things happen, but somebody finally figured it out, and now they will get the rewards of RB1 DeAndre Swift, which he has been the entire time.
Yeah, man. I went a little more low-hanging fruit because it really don't make sense when people are really like video games in real life. It doesn't make sense when Lamar Jackson does some of the things he does when you see certain stat lines. It doesn't make sense when Khalil Mack is getting 6 sacks. But this guy right here is super consistent when healthy, and he's usually healthy. And there's something in the DNA. Whoever his parents are, they need to, I don't know, try to freeze something, save something, and try to sell it on the market because it ain't just him. It was his older brother, too. I got Pittsburgh's TJ Watt. Let me tell you what he's done in 4 games, right? 18 tackles. You're just like, oh, okay, 18 tackles. 6 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, 2 passes defensed, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's been 4 games.
Yeah.
You got to calm down, my dude. Huh? You got to calm down. And I know Pittsburgh needs everything that they possibly can defensively because offensively, again, another team where it's just not. And now I haven't followed what's going on with Kenny Pickett, so I don't know if whether or not he's.
Sounds like he will play.
Okay, so that's fine, I guess. But TJ Watt, when you say someone's all over the field, you say somebody got that dog in them, they don't quit. They're always an issue. You know, the offense is looking at them, and the offensive linemen, whether they announce it or not, in their head, they're just like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I got to take them one-on-one. Coach, one-on-one, they'll never say it, but I know there's been more than one offensive lineman that sees TJ Watt line up over there, and he just like, man, you better get this ball out your hand. You hear me? Because he's going to be back there soon. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just trying to warn you, okay? TJ Watt, man, that's a stat line for you. A lot of guys with 6 sacks, including right here, you know, in Jacksonville with Josh Allen. Nobody is getting after the QB and also tackles for losses and also has some passes defense. There are DBs who don't have 2.
True.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand what's in the Watt DNA, but please, if y'all figure it out, you know, maybe y'all can sell it or something like that. I don't know. But I got TJ Watt for the Got That Dog in Him award. This is going to be a fun one, Kasey. I think I know where you're going, but breakout player of the quarter.
I can't imagine there being any other answer than Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams. Is that your answer as well?
I wanted to, but then I thought you'd go there, so I went somewhere else.
Fair enough. I don't need to spend much time here. 39 catches, 500 and a yard, and a touchdown. 52 targets. He's getting force-fed from Matthew Stafford. Again, it's self-explanatory. He has 501 yards in 4 games, and none of y'all knew his name until I wrote that article. I put his name in there. Then y'all laughed at me, told me, this sucks, ain't no way. And now Puka Nacua is like one of the best receivers in the league, apparently, through 4 weeks. All I'm saying is between Houston and Puka Nacua, check the scoreboard because I am up right now in off-season predictions. So, shout out to Puka. I don't know what it means when Cooper Kupp comes back, to be real with you, but I know through 4 weeks, he's got 501 receiving yards, and he is the breakout player of the quarter for me by far.
Let me ask you this, just a side note really quick.
Sure.
You have Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Who played amazingly.
Yep.
You got this Puka Nacua.
Oh, it's definitely Stafford in the position. 100%.
That's where we're going? Okay, yeah. That's what I wanted to go with it.
It's the quick game, get it out, and yak for those guys, and then the occasional get behind the defense. But it's the role. It's the position. I don't know what happens when Cooper Kupp comes back. Can they do it with 2 guys? I don't know, but it's definitely their role.
Okay. My breakout player of the quarter, I would give my vote to Puka Nacua, but this guy right here, Listen, a vet in the league, 31 years old, has played on multiple teams. He started with Miami, Baltimore, Cleveland, Chicago, San Francisco for a bunch of years, came back to Miami. Raheem Mostert, let me just tell you why. Guys never gained more than 849 yards in a single season. He had one season where he had 8 touchdowns, and that was back in 2019. And I don't know what's happening on San Fran that year, but I'm sure it wasn't all in bunches or whatnot. This season, in 4 weeks, he has already become a top, I believe, 13 rusher. And he's tied with Christian McCaffrey for most rushing touchdowns, and he has a reception touchdown as well. And listen, I know a chain is sharing time in that backfield with Mostert, and I understand overall with Miami's offense, it's very dynamic. But I think he put together a very nice, unexpected breakout kind of first quarter. Nobody was expecting some of this stuff from Raheem Mostert, both running and catching the ball. And I think that I think he's deserving for some type of recognition in this area. I don't know if he keeps it up in the second quarter. I have no idea. But for the first 4 weeks, Raheem Mostert, I mean, again, minus this Buffalo game, I should say the first 3 weeks, he was a problem. He was a problem for defenses. They were like, we can't do nothing with him, or a chain, or Tyreek Hill. Maybe Waddle, because he had a little bit of injury, but he's still catching the ball too. So that's who I got for breakout player of the quarter. Kasey Kuhrts, this ain't it, my boy award.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Who ain't playing well? The Cincinnati Bengals are not. A lot of people's Super Bowl picks, mine included, they really have only played one competitive game so far. Like, the Ravens score looks close. It really wasn't. They got blown out by Cleveland. They got blown out by the Titans, which is odd. They lose to the Rams. Now they're playing Arizona, but like, I don't know. They lost to Tennessee and Cleveland. They can lose to anybody, just to be real with you. And first of all, it's already over in the division. So now you're talking about Cincinnati maybe as a wild card team. Maybe, because they're not winning the division. So can they figure it out? Joe Burrow, is he hurt for real? If he is, sit him down. I don't know what the deal is, but after they play Arizona, like, you got one more week to figure this thing out. Because you would think they could beat Arizona. If you got to sit Burrow, you got to sit him. After they play the Cardinals, 3-week stretch of the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Bills. We might look up, realistically, and this is a 2-6 football team for the Cincinnati Bengals, and talking about 2024 and not 2023. So I don't think there's a more disappointing team in the league right now than Cincinnati. They have to be leading the way. 1 quarter in of the award you do not want to be leading the way in, and this ain't it, my boy.
Yeah. My team is disappointing, but in a different way. It's going to be weird. Just let me breathe through it. And we're coming up on a break soon, but let me just get through this right here. Sounds like hate, but really what it is that I expect so much more out of them. You hear it weekly on the Power Rankings, and I'm bringing it up back here. The This Ain't It, My Boy award goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, guys, you take care of business. At the end of the game, you have more points. You look at the stat line for a lot of the guys offensively, even defensively, you're just like, okay, but it feels like it's hanging together and it could go left. It could have been gone left in this first quarter, even though these guys are 4-0 outside of the Buccaneers game. 3 of these 4 games, Kasey, got to be real with you, feel like they should have handled it much better. Whether they jumped out to a fast lead or whether it was just like they let go of a big lead, or if it was just tight all the way through with a team that you're just like, okay, the other team is giving me their best shot, but we're the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, check out who we have on our team who's trying to perform. And something that you like to do that I love to do now, I'm just stealing this from you. I'm pulling up this schedule, Kasey. The Eagles, if they keep playing kind of iffy, it's iffy for most of the game. I promise you, if you go back and watch some of these games, it's just almost as if they're not, I want to say not taking it seriously, but it's like, okay, we can turn it on. That kind of deal, which to this point they have, or they've been able to turn it on to stop somebody's run. They got the Rams, they got the Jets, they got the Dolphins, Commanders again, and then they go through a run in the third quarter of the season where it's the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Seahawks. You play the way you did in this first quarter, in this second and third quarter, and you're going to be talking about being on the road for the playoffs. I think they're good enough to be on the road for the playoffs. I still think that they're probably going to be a 1 or 2 seed, regardless. I mean, depending on what happens with San Francisco.
Yeah.
But if they're playing like this, minus that Buccaneers game, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a long run, and it's going to be another disappointing season in Philadelphia. So that's who I got for that award. Your Realtor is about to be busy award, Kasey Kuhrts.
I'll make this one quick. You already know the answer. The Realtor is about to be busy in Los Angeles, and there will be no problem selling Brandon Staley's house when he gets blown out by the Chargers. Literally any minute. I don't understand why he's still employed. I haven't understood it for like 3 years. They've barely beaten 2 really bad football teams. Coming up, they got Dallas, they got Kansas City. He might not be employed when they go play the Chicago Bears at the end of the month. So, I mean, it'll be easy to sell his house. I heard it's nice out there in LA. That's what they be saying. Brandon Staley, seat is on fire.
Yeah, funny you said the Bears. I got a 2-for-1 special. Head coach Matt Eberflus. You get on the phone with your realtor right now. Call World Banker, whoever it is that handles your mortgage right there in Chicago, because you ain't gonna be there long. And Justin Fields, unfortunately, you got to be in OTVIP. I mean, unless Caleb Williams, Drake May, one of these quarterbacks come out,
it's over.
You know, and they got the 1 pick and the 2 pick. Nice seeing you. Go somewhere else. New pasture. Make it happen. Final one, Kasey Kuhrts, most likely to continue to succeed award.
Let's bring it full circle. Check the scoreboard. I called it earlier.
Here we go.
Give me the Houston Texans to continue to succeed. CJ Stroud's the real deal. Listen to this. Atlanta, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Bucks all in a row for the Houston Texans. Holy cow. CJ Stroud is about to have a field day, as we documented on Monday. Desmond Ridder can't throw the football. That's a win over the Falcons. You talked about the Saints. I don't know what the deal is there. It's a winnable game. He'll beat Bryce Young. They may beat the Bucks. Burrow might already be done with the season by the time the Bengals come in after that in early November. CJ Stroud and the Texans. Ryan, I'm a believer. I told you in the offseason, I'm really a believer right now.
I hear you. And mine is the Detroit Lions. I think they're for real. I think they're going to handle business. And
Really?
I think that they are going to be an issue for a lot of teams in the NFC. They're not going to go away, barring injury. So I got the Detroit Lions continuing to succeed from that 3-1 record that they have in the first quarter of the season. Kasey Kuhrts.
The quarter season awards in the NFL are in the books for Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. When we come back,
what, man?
We will continue this radio program. I do want to let you know we have baseball coverage coming up tonight of the Wild Card Series on the National League side. Who you will not hear or see play baseball again this year is the Tampa Bay Rays. And I will tell you basically everything you need to know about that scenario if you are unfamiliar. BRB.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy and breezy with a few scattered showers at times tonight through tomorrow. Overnight low temperatures in the 60s to low 70s. Your Thursday high will reach the mid-80s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville. ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Hey y'all, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K this October 2nd to 8th at Timuquana Country Club. Be sure to check out college football and your Jaguars on the Jumbotrons in the Publix Tailgate Village, Birdie Beers at Circle K Party Porch, the ViStar Patriots Outpost, and more. Grab your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the legends of the game compete for a spot in the PGA Tour Champions playoffs. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today.
Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying bout circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville, October 27th, valorbk.com.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people may be wondering, why should I get my air ducts cleaned?
Well, there's two good reasons. First is indoor air quality. As we live in our homes, we generate a great deal of air pollutants such as dander, dust, and chemicals. These contaminants are pulled into the HVAC system and are recirculated 5 to 7 times per day. The second reason is that a clean system is much more energy efficient than a dirty one. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, 25 to 40% of the energy used for cooling a home can be wasted. Contaminants in the HVAC system cause it to work harder and shorten its lifespan.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow. So I can get it disinfected for free?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
You know how it goes at Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes. And now you can bring Willie Jewell's to your party in October. It's a football feast. 6 pounds of pork, 5 whole chickens, baked beans, coleslaw, banana pudding, toast, tea, and even all the paper goods. $295 for your 25-person football feast. Make it easy on you. You just watch the football, have fun. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue takes care of the food. Let Willie Jewell's feed you this football season. WillieJewells.com. Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's gonna be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. A couple weeks ago, Brian Middleton on this very program said words that really have never been truer. He said, they're still playing baseball? And I said, yeah. It's almost the playoffs, though. The time a year that I become more disappointed than any other time of year. Because the Tampa Bay Rays, Brian. Brian, the Tampa Bay Rays, to me... Oh, boy. Is this the OT curse music?
Yeah, but it's curse worthy. We didn't curse it per se. I didn't pick the Rays, but I felt like it's appropriate for where you're about to go with things. I'll take it down in a moment or two.
Hey, do you think? This is, the team for me, right? These are the boys. Grew up with them, ride or die with the boys. And every year they do this. They do this thing in the regular season where they win 100 games, 90 games, 99 games, 86 games. Something real good. This is a stretch since 2018 as maybe the best regular season team of all time, right? You play these boys in the regular season, you got no shot to win more times than not. You will more times than not come to St. Petersburg, not Tampa, and lose. But in the playoffs, after they play 162 times a year, after they do that, they'll lose. They'll lose. In the biggest moments, they will fall, Brian. They will fall. They fell today to the Texas Rangers, 7-1.
Wow.
Ending the playoffs.
What's that make it for the 2 games? It was 11-1?
11-1. Well, I actually do have some numbers there, Brian. And it comes to an overarching point. So let me tell you where this went wrong. I can pinpoint it to a day and a time, a place, a location. I can pinpoint it to October 27th of 2020. Do you remember what happened that day? It was the World Series. The Rays were playing the Dodgers. And in the middle of a shutout, a dominating performance by Blake Snell, unbelievably, inexplicably, any word you want to use, Kevin Cash took the ball from Blake Snell in that game. Do you know what happened? Nick Anderson blew the game. The Rays lost the World Series. The Dodgers were World Series champions. Since that day, October 27th of 2020, what has happened? The Rays are 1-7 in the playoffs. I just told you they're winning 100 games a year. They're 1-7 in the playoffs. They've lost 7 in a row, including today. In that stretch, they've been outscored 40-22. 40-22. They had a streak today that was alive, 33 straight scoreless innings dating back to last year.
What?
33 in a row they did not score a run. From Cleveland last year into the first game of this series and into the second game deep when they scored a run in the 7th inning today.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's terrible. That's what it is.
It is terrible.
All right.
And with all of that said, this has to be it for Kevin Cash as the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays.
He's still the manager?
He is.
Well, I guess if you have great regular seasons, they're like...
He's an unbelievable regular season manager. He has done an unbelievable job with the Rays organization. But when he took the ball from Blake Snell on October 27th of 2020, it was the beginning of the end.
Is it the Blake Snell curse then? Is Blake Snell somewhere like, hey...
Maybe, because Blake Snell's about to win a Cy Young for the Padres, but that's not Kevin Cash's fault. But when you hear stuff like this after the game, Kevin Cash in the postgame today said that the Rays should have been able to perform better. Another quote from Kevin Cash. These guys we had out there were capable of doing better today than we did. Right now, I can't put my finger on why we were eliminated so quickly. It's time. Yeah. It's time. Doesn't deserve to be fired. But when I tell you that you win 90 to 100 games a year and you're 1-7 in your last 8 playoff games.
Well,
when you're outscored by 20 runs in your last 8 playoff games, when you don't score a run for 33 innings, and I understand they're hurt. They're always hurt. Every damn year somebody is hurt on this team.
It sounds
and
like
multiple people. And now I know Wander's not hurt, but that's a whole thing too, right? Can't control that. Not Kevin Cash's fault. Not saying it is, but doesn't matter. It happened. Doesn't deserve to be fired, Brian, but he's got to go.
Were they hurt in 2020, October 27, 2020, though?
They were not. They were healthy and on the field.
Last time.
And since then, it's been injuries. Yeah. It's been just playoff letdown because as a Rays fan, you understand that this will go. In 2008, they were good. They had a stretch where the Rays were a good team. They went to the World Series. They did not win it. Then they went 11 and 12, which, by the way, they lost to the Rangers. I hate the Rangers. And then in 13, they lost to the Rangers again. And then it went 2014 through 2018 where they sucked. I'm talking losing 100 games a year. So you've had this stretch where you've been able to put things together, and I believe it's over. I believe Kevin Cash will be gone, especially after the postgame today, not really knowing how to win games. Whether it's mutual or not, I believe Kevin Cash will be gone as the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. They will bring somebody else in. Maybe they'll tear the whole thing down. I don't know. Because it's unexplainable that this team in the regular season that is so good cannot do a thing in the playoffs. There's no words.
That is clearly at this point is psychological. Or let me ask you this. If they at least have McClanahan,
Mm-hmm.
I understand in the past they've had him and the record is still what it is in the postseason. But if he's there, is this at least a 3-game series?
I would say this, Brian, and it is actually not my words. It is in the words of Jumbo Shrimp broadcaster Scott Kornberg.
Oh, okay.
In the history of baseball, nobody has won without scoring a run. They're still trying to figure out how to win without scoring a run. So if McClanahan held them to 0, unfortunately the Rays in Game 1 still have not scored.
That's good. Okay.
So no.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Yeah, still sweet.
When
Still
you get
12.
shut out by Jordan Montgomery and you pretty much get shut out by Nathan Eovaldi, there's no chance to win. None. So McClanahan, you can say, that's the thing too. You can say all you want about the pitchers that are injured for this team, right? Because that's what happened. A lot of Tommy John. Only offensive bat that you're really missing is Wander and I guess Brandon Lau.
That's
but
a big bat, though,
you
right?
can't blame.
Pause. Yeah.
I mean, you can't look at the pitching, even though you lose by 4 and by 6. You can't blame the pitching because you couldn't score. You put together a run in garbage time. You know what I mean? If you're losing 6-5, 6-4, there's an argument to be made. But when you're losing 6-0, there's nothing you can complain about. You couldn't score.
But were they having these issues? Were they having these issues second half of the season down the stretch, the last month of scoring? Was it a lot of 1- and 2-run eke it out kind of wins? Because
it was not good baseball down the stretch, right? If they would
Okay.
score runs, it feels like they couldn't pitch, and then vice versa. There was a lot of it. Now again, were injured down the stretch. That's where Kevin Cash deserves credit and has always deserved credit for this team. But it didn't look right at the end of the year, and it's no surprise to me at least that it blew up in the way that it did.
How long before a decision is made? It just, if you have to make a guess about switching managers, determination of the future of the team.
I don't think it'll be quick because it's tough to fire a guy who's 739 and 617 in the regular season. He's been good, but it's time. He cannot figure it out in the postseason. He can't push the right buttons, whether he has the right players or not. He can't do it. And I think that doesn't take a firing. If he got flat out fired, I'd be shocked. I think that takes reflection. I think that takes Kevin Cash saying, I don't know if I can get this done here. And that takes the Rays being at least motivated to make a move there.
He's clearly just being outcoached or, outmanaged, whatever the proper terminology is in the postseason, right? He doesn't make adjustments or
he can't. I believe they can't get the. And here's the thing, it's not easy to do when you have the worst attendance at a playoff game since 1919, but I believe they cannot get their team ready to play in the playoffs. They cannot get their offense ready to play. And granted, when you walk out to a crowd that's not even cheering, just sitting, and barely anybody there, it's tough. I'm not blaming. That's inexcusable as well from the fans in St. Pete and Tampa. I understand it's 3 o'clock on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, but no real reason to be motivated to play in that scenario. So I believe he can't get them ready to play. He couldn't in Cleveland last year, a little bit against Boston the couple of years prior, but in the last 2 years, they look like it's just any other midweek series in May, June, or July. And they've got exposed for it. Not a good time to say scoreboard, but I will say I called the Texas Rangers being pretty good. Scoreboard. And I told you very early in the year that the Rays were frauds. When they went on 14 in a row, I told you it wasn't real.
Well, that was more so just your natural ingrained pessimism.
All I'm saying, Brian, is scoreboard.
Hey, no one can doubt you, man. You've called 3 things correct and a bunch of things wrong that we don't bring up. But
you can,
for this show right here, you 3 for 3, my boy. You 3 for 3.
You can win 65 regular season games in a row, but if you can't win one in the postseason, it does not matter.
Well, it matters a little bit. I'm sure that's a record.
Kevin Cash,
games in a row? Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Okay.
I would appreciate it if you did not come back.
Your badge is no good here
Tampa.
now. You got to box your stuff at the front.
Rays are the first team eliminated from the postseason this year.
The first team. Holy smoke. All right.
We'll have like a 2-minute segment on the other side.
Yeah.
I'll try to get over it in the break. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, BRB.
The Chief is always tracking to give you the first alert.
Get into something sturdy. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get out.
When summer season in Florida becomes storm season, put your trust in Action News Jack's first alert chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, to warn you first.
Stop traveling, get to the side of the road, let the storm pass.
No one can get you better prepared before the next storm hits.
Take shelter right now.
Mike Burrish and the Action News Jack's first alert weather team, because knowing first matters most.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy. Don't miss the legend live. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
As a roofer, I've got a million things to do, and that's a million things that need to be done right. That's why I partner with Beacon. The team at Beacon makes sure my materials are delivered accurately and on time. And the Beacon Pro Plus app makes ordering the brands I depend on, like CertainTeed Landmark Pro, easier than ever. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through November, purchase CertainTeed through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
Are you searching for your next great ride? Then I've got great news for you. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has just announced an unbeatable inventory of over 500 used vehicles all in one place. I'm talking cars under $18,000, over 200 SUVs, and more than 100 pickup trucks. Even better, right now get no payments until January 2024. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-206-7930. 904-206-7930. That's 904-206-7930.
Experience wins when buying or selling your home. Changing markets and rates make for challenging times these days. Bass Professional Realty can guide you through those times and open the door to a new home or lock the door on your old home one final time with a good experience thanks to their experience. Bass Professional Realty has been serving Northeast Florida this entire century. Last year, Nancy Bass and Bass Professional Realty were voted a top real estate firm in Jacksonville. Have a good home selling or buying experience with the experienced team of Bass Professional Realty.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
The legend that is Hufflepuff over here at the Cox Media Group Studios. ESPN 690 Studios is where we are for a couple more minutes. Baseball coverage coming up in just moments. Again, just to confirm, it will not be the Rays.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah. Good job.
They're done.
Good job.
It's over. Hockey season's coming up. Lightning are good. Actually, they're not, Brian. I forgot. Vazzy had surgery. So he's out a couple of months.
That sounds wild.
The Jags better start winning some damn games, and it better start being impressive.
Or else you're going to be in
because I'm not going to be able to make it to the winter.
It's supposed to be cold this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, the winter's coming sooner than later.
Winter's coming? That's
fall.
like a Game of Thrones. Like, are we in trouble here?
I guess it's fall. I don't know. After that FEMA alert.
Boy, I was at the post office when that happened. Boy, everybody's stuff just went
I
off.
was like, yo. I didn't realize that it was planned. I was like, is this something I need to know? Is there a bomb shelter somewhere around here?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should do this.
No, don't do it then. Or
Yeah,
do it.
hesitate, don't go. See, this is like way too deep, and I'm only kidding, but I'm also not kidding.
Do I need the conspiracy theory?
Yeah, hit it. That's
Okay,
fine.
here we
What are
go.
they gonna do? All right. This is quick. Why did they randomly test everybody's emergency response thing today at 2:18? You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you.
What's happening? Like, you could have tested it any day, any time. 2:18. Like, what do they know that's about to happen? You know, I can't be the only one thinking that.
Yeah.
This isn't like I'm an idiot, right? This isn't. It's clearly not inside information. But this isn't like political. This isn't any of that. This is me saying this is weird that they're going to tell us at 2:18 on a regular Wednesday that they're testing everybody's thing. That's all I'm saying. It feels odd to me, Brian.
Well, you're not privy to that information, Casey, but I understand your concerns.
But again, just to bring this show full circle, if something ends up happening, go back to this moment, scoreboard, I'm right again. Texans, Rays, Rangers, I'm right all the way around. How about it? How about it? We got to go. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. Baseball coverage is up next right here on ESPN 690. Have a great night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
If you're the victim of a car crash, never